Aaron Williams. The Houston Oilers also found a new quarterback last year. He was new to Houston, but in 6 short years in the Canadian Football League, Warren Moon had already become a legend. Moon brought stability to the Oilers offense last year under new head coach Hugh Campbell. And they're back this year with running back Mike Rozier and wide receivers such as Tim Smith with high hopes for a playoff season. Rozier, the great running back from Nebraska, helped shatter pro football's economic structure when he joined the USFL. After a disappointing year at Pittsburgh, Rozier found it once again at Jacksonville this past season. His strength, power, and speed carried him to a 1,300-yard season. But the USFL does not have the likes of the Giants' Lawrence Taylor. Many say he's not only the game's greatest linebacker of all time, but the finest all-around pro football player in the game today. Lawrence Taylor and Mike Rozier should get acquainted today in the annual Hall of Fame football game from Canton, Ohio. And you'll see it here on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Brought to you by L.A. from Anheuser-Busch, a great tasting premium beer with half the alcohol of our regular beer. Sometimes it's the perfect thing to say. By Ford and your local Ford dealer, who invite you to see the 1985 Ford cars and trucks. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Allstate, we insure your home, your car, your health, your business, and your life. You're in good hands with Allstate. And by the new GI Bill, now for young men and women in the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Foster Stadium in Canton, Ohio, on this, the 23rd annual Hall of Fame football game between the New York Giants and the Houston Oilers. The Giants meeting the Oilers, the Giants coming off a playoff season in which they went to the playoffs, beat the Rams, and lost ultimately to the Super Bowl champion 49ers. And the Houston Oilers were a 13-3 season, but they won 3 of their games. They won those 3 games in the final 6 games of the season. So they are looking ahead, particularly behind quarterback Warren Moon. But the game, quite frankly, is a little incidental to what went on earlier in the day, what's transpired during the course of the week. This is Hall of Fame week here in Canton, Ohio. Earlier this morning, some 500,000 people watched the parade as the enshrinees were brought to the Hall of Fame, which is just adjacent to this, the Fawcett Field, where the game is annually played. 5 inductees, and what a class it is. Some of the great names of the world of professional football. And there were the movie moments that we always have on Hall of Fame Day. We'll see a little bit of that at halftime. But right now, let's meet the 5 new enshrinees. Number 1, Pete Rozelle, became commissioner at the age of 33 in 1960. Has guided the league through all kinds of problems, litigations, player unrest, strikes. He entered the Hall of Fame today. And Frank Gatzke joined a host of Cleveland Browns in the Hall of Fame. Perhaps not as famous as the Lou Grosses, the Otto Grahams, but Frank Gatzke was the center for the champion Cleveland Browns through the 50s. And this man, Roger Staubach, it was 5 years after he left Navy before he put on a Cowboy uniform, 2 more years before he became the starter. He went on to lead the Cowboys to 2 Super Bowl titles, but his trademark was winning the big game in the closing seconds. He did it over and over. And here is one, my colleague in the booth, that we'll never forget. Heisman Award winner, 1968, the University of Southern California. He made it all look so easy. Remember 1973, in a 14-game season, 2,003 yards. Such grace, such style. O.J. Simpson, the culmination of a great career today, the Hall of Fame. And Joe Namath. He was a celebrity when he arrived in New York in 1965 because he signed, remember, that famous $400,000 contract? And, of course, he gave the American Football League that instant credibility when he said, before Super Bowl III, I guarantee we'll beat the Baltimore Colts. And they did. 16-7. Right after that, the merger came about. And here they are, my 2 colleagues for Monday Night Football this year in the booth. And, fellas, I stood up on that platform in 1977, and I thought I was so cool, I was so calm. I've been on network television. This is not going to get me. Wow, it really grabbed me. And, Joe, let me talk to you first. It got you when one time when you mentioned Bear Bryant.
Yes, it sure did, Frank. Actually, there were so many warm, emotional moments this whole week and the last few days. But whenever I started talking about Coach Bryant, well, a lot of us miss him. He was a great man and a great friend, and we loved him. And, you know, he's up there in that football heaven right now. And, well, what can I say? We miss him.
We're going to see part of your speech at halftime, as we will OJ's too. But I know you started to think back of all the people that are responsible for Joe Namath. And it goes back so far, and it's hard in just in one speech, one short period of time, to touch on all the people that have meant so much to you.
Oh, it really is, Frank. First of all, it does start at home with the family. And my entire family was here from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Well, most of Beaver County was up here. My family, the coaches that I've worked with, my high school coach introduced me at the induction ceremonies. And a lot of folks ask me, why a high school coach? Well, you know, when a boy is 15, 16, 17 years old, he needs some good, positive direction. And this man influenced me in the proper way, in the right direction, and I respect him and love him for that.
Your teammates, there were a lot of them here.
Oh, man, you know, I realize that old Joe didn't get into this Hall of Fame on his own. It's a team game, and it's a great tool to use to teach children, by the way, about life. Life's a team game. Well, the guys that I played ball with at Alabama and Beaver Falls High School and with the New York Jets. Winston Hill was here, by the way, representing the team, along with many of the other Jet personnel from the office. Well, those guys are sharing this day with me. That's what it's all about. A team game, still a team on, and a team thrill.
And, of course, OJ touched on his teammates. He talked about the electric company. But, OJ, you handled it so well. But was it pumping and the butterflies in there when you were up there accepting?
Well, you know, it's a week of reflection, and you reminisce. You think about all the people who have contributed to your career to end up, you know, to have you end up here at the Hall of Fame. And you think about your players and your coaches, but then you forget someone. You forget maybe the most important person in your life. And in my case, it was my mother, you know, and I got pretty choked up thinking about all the things that she's done for me over the years. And I just know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her support and her love. I think the other thing that got to me, Joe, was the fact that you come here, you know, and I've spent my whole life, you know, seeing guys like Gail Sayers and Dick Buckus and Ray Nitschke and Deacon Jones, and all of a sudden you're in a room and all these guys are there. They're talking about football, and, you know, somehow I just didn't believe that I was a part of this group, you know. You say, hey, these guys are history, and do I belong here?
Exactly right. We looked at those guys when we were growing up, right? And it was a lot of fun visiting with them. We heard more lies the last few days than you can imagine. I can't wait to come back here and hear some more lies next year.
Well, I think we got some future Hall of Famers down here. Lawrence Taylor, we know he's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. Warren Moon, the great quarterback from Canada, who is now at Houston, I think he may possibly be joining us in this hall one day. And I know there's over 160 players on the field, so there's 160 mothers out there probably nervous and praying for those players. So why don't you say we get over to Frank and let's get these guys started.
Let's get the game started.
And speaking for all of us here at ABC, we'd like to welcome Joe Namath to the booth. He just thinks he took a lot of heat playing football. He will take a lot of heat in the seat up here. The annual Hall of Fame game. The New York Giants will kick off. Ali Haji Sheik, they'll put it in play. Dropping deep for the Houston Oilers will be Steve Tasker, a rookie 9th-round draft pick out of Northwestern. Number 14, Willie Drury, is back there with him. He's also a rookie. He's out of West Virginia. Both of them smallish. Drury 5'7", 158-pounder, but he can really fly. And again, there are about 182 players represented by both teams here today. We'll try to keep them straight for you. We will not guarantee it. There's no way we could. And keep in mind, this is the first game. The teams have been in camp for about 10 days. So it will be not brilliant football you'll be watching today. And Tasker wisely stays in the end zone. A high kick by Ali Haji Sheik. And the offensive unit of the Houston Oilers comes onto the field. And this is the man we spoke of earlier, Warren Moon. 6 years he was up in Edmonton. 144 touchdowns, over 21,000 yards. When he came out of the University of Washington 7 years ago, 8 years ago it was now, nobody drafted him. He had signed earlier with Edmonton before the draft, and he went on to just do some wonderful things up there. His coach at the time for 5 of those years, Hugh Campbell, he is now the coach of the Houston Oilers. First down and 10. Warren Moon looks it over from the 20-yard line. That's Tim Smith, the leading receiver for the Oilers, 83 in motion. And the screen goes to Butch Woolfolk, a Giant only a year ago, and traded in the offseason for a 3rd-round draft pick. Gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Gary Reeves has made the stop. Let's look at the Giants' defense. This is their strength. That and their quarterback, Phil Simms. Their linebackers are absolutely great. They have 6 of them. You're going to look at 4 of them, but they have 6 of them that probably would start for most teams in the National Football League. Of course, headed by Lawrence Taylor. Carl Banks, the rookie from Ohio State a year ago, has developed also into another great linebacker. Second down, long 7. Draw play. Stan Edwards over the left side, and Stan Edwards out over the 25 to about the 27. They'll mark it close to the 26. It'll be 3rd down and 4. And Joe, what does it look like from up here?
Well, I tell you right now on the football field, Frank, it looks a little funny. I've not seen too many games open up with a screen pass and a draw play. Usually you run those plays when the other team's teeing off coming at you on the in the passing game.
Might be the only things they've had a chance to work on in 10 days. Houston Oilers again and the New York Giants. And contrary to what they might say, they really play this game almost like a heavy scrimmage. They don't want to hurt anyone. They don't want to get the muscle pulls that go with early strenuous work. And they'll play a lot of players. 3rd down and 4. Moon looks over the middle and fires in and behind Jamie Williams. Moon was hurried by pressure from Leonard Marshall. And there is Hugh Campbell, a gifted athlete himself in his collegiate days at Washington State. Played up in the Canadian League himself, even though he was drafted in the 4th round by the 49ers. And once again, I'll mention he was Warren Moon's coach for 5 years, 5 record-setting years up at Edmonton. In the last 5 years of his coaching tenure at Edmonton, he won 5 Grey Cups. That's remarkable. That's like the Super Bowl in Canadian football. Phil McConkey is back for the Giants. Lee Johnson on to punt for the Oilers. Barefoot, left-footed kicker, and he hangs one up ever so high. At the 27, McConkey. McConkey pounded at the 32, and they'll mark it up out over the 30 for the Giants' first offensive possession. And here is Phil Simms. We spoke of him earlier. First Giant to pass for over 4,000 yards a year ago, but he was durable last year. The previous 4 years, he had suffered from injuries. People were beginning to wonder if the #1 draft pick 8 years ago was the kind of football player that George Young said he would be. And last year, he really erased all doubt. He had a tremendous year. There's the offensive line. Rob Carpenter is the single setback for the Giants, number 26. Play action by Simms, looking downfield, gets the pressure, gets away from it, and gets the ball to Morris. Joe Morris down the sidelines, and he's up close to midfield as he stays in bounds for a Giant first down. And Phil Simms made it all possible. It was Jesse Baker, the defensive end, number 75, who pressured Simms. Simms was able to get away from it and get the ball off.
I tell you, Frank, this Simms looks like he's picking up just where he ended up last year. He had the healthy season and had a terrific season, and I like his style. He's strong, calm under pressure, and he can throw that rock.
Big too, Joe. I know in commenting on a run-through game we had the other day, you said over and over you liked everything about the young man. On a first down and 10, Joe Morris over to the right side. Turns it back inside, and he's not big, but he's powerful. He pulls inside the 45-yard line for a gain of about 3, and we're going to meet the defense. Jesse Baker, whom I mentioned a moment ago, he has led the Oilers in pass rushing over the past 6 seasons. There's a changing of the guard, if you will, for the linebackers of the Oilers. The great names that we have known over the years, well, they are having a hard time staying with the youngsters. I'm talking about Ted Thompson, Robert Brazil, Greg Bingham. 2nd down and 7. Joe Morris tripped up and hustles his way up close to the 40-yard line, short of the first down by about 3 yards. And here is Bill Parcells, now in his 3rd year as the general manager. O.J., you played in this game, I think, once, didn't you?
Actually, we were on strike the year our team played in it, but I know how it feels to be in the first preseason game of the year. For the veterans, it's good to see a fresh face on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and for many of these rookies, it's the most important game of the season because this may be their only chance to show what they can do.
Levi called Bill Parcells, the general manager. He is, of course, the head coach in his 3rd year now, actively running the squad, and he's done a good job. He's turned things around. There's a lot of new people that he got from general manager George Young, and again, they are looking for another playoff possibility this year. That was Zeke Mowatt, the tight end, the intended receiver, and we will see the punting unit for the Giants come on. That means Dave Jennings, who is being pressured. He's coming off certainly not a typical Dave Jennings year as we look at Willie Drury now dropping back for the Houston Oilers, number 15. That net average was the lowest in the NFL. Jennings also had 3 blocked punts last year. 2 of them, as you might recall, in the Ram game that were turned into safeties. There's Willie Drury. an 11th round draft pick out of West Virginia. Jennings looking for the corner. And into the end zone it bounds. So the Oilers will get the touchback for the second time, their second possession, on a punt of 41 yards, but it will net only 21 yards. We'll be back.
I'm 32 years old, and I love Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Brave adults are coming forward to challenge the notion that Frosted Flakes is just a kid's cereal.
I know there's a tiger in the box. I like the taste, okay?
Because you love them as a kid doesn't mean you can't love them as an adult.
One day, our neighbor saw the package on the table.
And we don't even have children.
With that extra crunch and milk, that frosting just right, that taste is great as ever.
Well, they've always been my favorite. So dig in. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
To fully understand how Goodyear Eagle high-performance tires alter the driving experience, we urge you to read the Special Operator's Manual before you drive. The information it contains may contribute significantly to the performance of the properly equipped car. Goodyear Eagles. The tires engineered for cars with the proper qualifications.
Hall of Fame day in Canton, Ohio. The Oilers going against the Giants. We're just underway. Frank Gifford along with Joe Namath and O.J. Simpson. Both Joe and O.J. going into the Hall of Fame today, and you'll have an opportunity to have a look at the moving ceremonies at halftime. It's kind of a strange kind of a huddle. I used to see a lot of that in college, but you don't see much of it in pro football, Joe.
I don't like it. You know, as a quarterback, I like to be able to see the defense, and having your back to him, I think, takes away some of the efficiency. So you might look over there and see a guy that looks tired to you, or he's limping, you know, and you take advantage of it.
See, I like it because as a running back, I want to see the defense.
Well, you ran with your eyes closed most of the time anyway. I don't know what you wanted to look at.
I think we're going to hear this all year. At least it's better than Deacon Jones said yesterday. He said, I'm going to talk to Mr. Arledge. We got to get some of those offensive guys out of the booth. I want some defensive guys up there. We're a little slow getting this second series underway for the Houston Oilers. They were checking on the clock to see if it was official. Now we're ready to go. First and 10, the Houston Oilers. The ball at their 20-yard line following the Dave Jennings touchback. The running backs, number 40, Butch Woolfolk. Number 32, Stan Edwards. Top of your screen, Tim Smith, the gifted receiver. Woolfolk, good straight-ahead, strong straight-ahead runner. Not so good to the outside. One of the reasons I think the Giants decided he was expendable. Never really could turn into that outside man, and they had the inside man in Carpenter. Woolfolk got about 4 out of it. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Well, this is a team that they have a fairly decent passing game, the Oilers, but they just don't have that outside running game, and Woolfolk has the speed to give them that, but he hasn't been an effective outside runner over the years.
Second down, long 6, number 85, top of your screen, is Drew Hill, recently acquired from the Los Angeles Rams. Speedy wide receiver, Stan Edwards, works the right side to the line of scrimmage before he's hit by Gary Reasons. Linebackers with good linebackers. Reasons, second-year man out of Northwest Louisiana State. And they have Carl Banks out on one corner, and they got Lawrence Taylor on the other, and they got Harry Carson in the middle. Tough to run against it.
They're mighty good. I'll tell you, it looked like the offensive lineman on the left side forgot who they were blocking that time. They just flat missed the 2 defenders.
Third down, long 6. And we'll see Warren Moon put it in the air. Warren Moon played his collegiate football at the University of Washington. Got a man open right over the middle, and he is really open. Halston. And nope, they're saying no. Incomplete. Bobbled the ball, and he was wide open, and Moon had it right in stride. Good pass. Well thrown ball, Joe.
Boy, it's a strike. The Giants are in a man-to-man coverage this time. It's 3rd down and 6, and he just flat throws a strike. And what a hit he takes. My goodness, I don't know how these receivers, I think they have to have nightmares at night thinking about hits like this. This Moon can pass the football.
Bill Courier got up there to pop Halston, and he really unloaded on him. They're like glad to have him back. He was struggling most of last year with a bad back. A strong safety for the Giants. McConkey deep for the Giants. Lee Johnson the punt. This time off the side of his foot is low, and McConkey will have an opportunity, but he bobbles at the 33. McConkey gets outside. Good running. Flag is down, but McConkey putting on a show to the 45-yard line. Could have got a clip because McConkey turned it back inside, and one of the Giants was in the act of throwing a block, and we might get a clip. Brett Cashin is our official today. We might point out that Art McNally, head of officials, is here at Fawcett Stadium today, looking over the possibility, or rather the feasibility, of using video replays.
Number 51 of the receivers holding during a run back. It'll be first down at 10.
The possibility and the feasibility of using video replays during the course of the year. They will be doing 9 such games in the preseason. We'll be back.
When do you say LA?
You know, I used to tend bar, and I've observed that sometimes when you're having a good old time, it's possible to get a little carried away. That's why I like LA from Anheuser-Busch. LA tastes great and has just half the alcohol. And sometimes that's a darn good idea. Like my daddy used to say, the real trick to carrying on is not getting carried away.
That's beautiful. LA, sometimes it's the perfect thing to say.
Okay, gang, let's take on the tough stuff.
Only one four-wheel drive vehicle has this combination of style and toughness. The Ford Bronco 2. Inside, there's an interior by Eddie Bauer. Up front, a V6 engine powers you through rough terrain. Underneath, Ford's tough independent front suspension steps over obstacles for a smooth ride. Overall, the Ford Bronco 2 not only conquers the rough stuff, but looks good doing it. Ford Bronco 2, the best-built American trucks are built. Ford Tough.
Hey, everybody, it's Uncle Joe.
We all like to spend the weekends with family and friends. That's why AT&T saves you 60% on long distance every weekend, and they don't stop with savings. They give you service, too. Calling from anywhere to anywhere. Operator service, calls that sound as close as you feel, and 60% off.
Joe, knew you'd make it somehow.
Savings and service. That's AT&T. The more you hear, the better we sound. AT&T, the right choice.
All week long, there have been Hall of Fame activities here in Canton, Ohio. Today, the parade through town, drawing some 500,000 from really literally all over the country. They line the streets of Canton, Ohio, and they really get behind the Hall of Fame here. It is really a beautiful week. I have characterized it as really a piece of Americana, and it is indeed that. Looking at the traditional game played after the induction ceremonies, the Giants with the football, 1st and 10. The ball at their own 27-yard line. No score here in the first quarter. They're going against Houston. Rob Carpenter, right side, and Rob Carpenter puts the head down, Bulls forward, short of the first down by about a yard. Hit by Jesse Baker. There is the Hall of Fame where today my 2 colleagues here in the booth, Joe Namath and O.J. Simpson, were enshrined. The busts will be in that hall along with 126 other legends of this game, going all the way back to the Jim Thorpe. 2nd down and 1 for the Giants. Carpenter with a good cutback effort. This is Joe Morris. Joe Morris will have the first down out over the 40 to about the 41-yard line. Joe Morris really emerged last year with 510 yards for the season, but he got most of it when they replaced Woolfolk with Joe Morris. Not big, 5'7", 195-pounder, and you, as a quarterback, you look around there, Joe, and you say, whoop, there's my fire plug.
I know. You sure don't want to isolate him with one of those big blitzing linebackers. He'd have his hands full trying to block him.
You know, he's a little bigger than Emerson Boozer, but, well, he runs a little like Boozer. On 1st and 10, Sims with a lot of time. Puts it up high, trying to get it deep to Bobby Johnson, who represents the speed on the outside for the Giants. And good coverage. Hung it up in the air, and Bo Eason was able to move over from his free safety position.
That was good coverage. You know, you mentioned Emerson Boozer. He was one of the best pass blocking backs ever to play the game of football. But the 2 that Weave Eubank told me yesterday he liked were Marion Martley and Matt Snell. He said those 2 guys were the best pass blockers he's ever seen.
Could well have been. Marion Motley would take your head off. He, of course, was here yesterday for the Hall of Fame ceremonies, and then also was riding around the track before today's game. It's 2nd down and 10. Ball at the 41-yard line. Byron Will Williams in motion. This is Joe Morris once again. Big opening, and Morris almost broke it big. He gets out to the 48-yard line, a gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Lawrence Taylor.
He's certainly as good as they get. I think he's at his very best when he's blitzing the quarterback. Myself, personally, I like playing against big linebackers like Lawrence. I found out that they didn't have the agility to stay with you. I wouldn't have wanted, I never played against him, obviously, but I would prefer to play against big guys. It was the little quick guys that gave me the problem.
Well, I sure didn't like playing against those big guys. They hit too hard.
I'm going to tell Lawrence you said he had no agility. He'll come up here in the booth and get you.
As much agility.
Out of the shotgun, 3rd and 2. Sims with a lot of time. Finally picked out the only receiver who wasn't on his feet, Zeke Moad, who was dueling out there in the flat.
Hey, that's the second time in short yardage that the Oilers have played a man-to-man coverage, and I don't look for them to do that very well or successfully throughout the course of this game. I think Sims will pick them apart if they try to play man-to-man continuously in that situation.
You'd have that much time, you'd still be playing. Of course, again, only a few days of practice. The legs are sore, and those practice sessions have been 2 a day. Willie Drury is dropping deep. Dave Jennings on again for the Giants to punt. Haven't brought you a whole lot of thrills thus far. We weren't anticipating it either. This is the first game. But every now and then, something happens, and a lot of youngsters try to make football teams. For many of them, even this early in the year, it could be a last opportunity. We'll be back with more action in a moment.
I don't know. What are you going to do? I don't know. I'd go to college.
Me too.
If I had the money.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
I don't know. What are you going to do?
You don't want those fries.
What are you going to do, Jack? Eat your way to college?
Yeah, really? I'm going to college on the new GI Bill. You serve full-time in the armed forces or part-time in the reserves, and you earn a lot of money for tuition.
The new GI Bill.
Are you using that pickle?
Now for young men and women in the armed forces. It's a great place to start. See your local recruiter.
In the beginning, man's feet walked free. But the road to civilization was paved, so man developed shoes. Soon after that, man developed athlete's foot.
Good God.
Today, there's Mycotin. Mycotin cures athlete's foot. It's the only athlete's foot medicine you can buy with myconazole, a patented ingredient recommended by specialists to cure athlete's foot. Mycotin in spray, powder, or cream. Mycotin, the end of the road for athlete's foot.
What does Sure do better than it does anything else? It makes you feel dry and sure about yourself. And when you're feeling good about you,
it figures everybody else does too. That's why Sure people sure feel good. Sure people sure feel good.
Sure has all the protection you need to help stay dry all day. And that's a good feeling for everyone.
Sure people sure feel good. Sure people sure feel good.
They're back. America's into moonlighting when Dave and Matty return Tuesday.
It came from the Grateful Dead, I think. Lately, it occurs to me what a long, strange trip this has been.
Well, hello to Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, too. I love them all. And Beaver County.
I think they were all here today, Joe.
I think they were, too. This was really one of the highlights of my professional career.
7:56 remaining in the first quarter. The ball at the Oilers' 11-yard line. We have no score. First down and 10. Warren Moon remains the quarterback. We'll see a lot of players in and out. Play action by Moon. Fires, and it's complete. Going over the middle to Jamie Williams, the tight end who they acquired a year ago. He was with Tampa Bay, and they got him last year. And he turned into a fine receiver here.
Obviously, they want to win this game. They come in, they're going to do their game plan. But what they're really looking for, the Oilers, is a running game. That's what they've lacked in the past, and they would like to be effective running the ball here. And they can lose the game if they run well. They'll be happy.
Wolf up the right side and hurdles out over the 30-yard line to about the 31. Nice pickup of about 7 yards for Butch Woolfolk. And there's Rob Carpenter. Really has been what represents the running game of the Giants, and it has not been much of a running game over the past few years. They have not had a 1,000-yard rusher, and it's hard to believe, since Ron Johnson did it in 1972. And Rob came in 81 from these Houston Oilers and helped the Giants to the playoff. That was his most productive year. Second down, long 3 for the Oilers. And good shot by Moon to get in between 2 defenders to Jamie Williams once again. I mentioned Williams with Tampa Bay. He was originally drafted by the Giants in the 3rd round.
He ran a little crossing pattern that time, Frank, and he just got in between the two linebackers. Almost every play, the Giants are bringing one of their outside linebackers on a blitz.
Oh, they love to do that. And they like to make it Lawrence Taylor. Towards the end of last year, though, Lawrence was seeing half the football team trying to block him. First down and 10. It's Woolfolk again, outside. And Butch Woolfolk running well inside the 40-yard line. The former Michigan All-American gets the first down to the 37-yard line before he's upended by Bill Courier.
And if nothing else happens today, Coach Campbell is going to be happy about this play, because this is what they're going to have to do to go along with Warren Moon's passing this season if they're going to improve on those 3 wins of last year. Once again, just great blocking, and Butch Woolfolk, a guy who was a 220 man in college and high school, just used his speed to get outside.
Even though it's an exhibition game, I'm sure, Juice, he's trying to say to the Giants, hey, you shouldn't have traded me. I'm a little better than you thought. On first down, Moon is back. A good drop. Fires it complete. Goes out to Drew Hill, the Ram acquired just a few days ago. And Drew Hill inside the 25 to the 24 for his first down. Those are his stats from a year ago. He has blazing speed. He is very small, however, but Moon gets it to him in good fashion.
We'd always, as quarterbacks, Frank, or people out there, would like a big target to hit, but the little guys, with the rules the way they are today, seem to be more prominent as wide receivers.
Drew Hill, he was drafted by Don Klosterman, who happens to be sitting in our booth right at the moment. First down and 10. Edwards to the 21-yard line for a gain 2, perhaps 3. Tackled there by Leonard Marshall. Talk about the holdouts on both ball clubs. Perhaps the key one for the Giants is Mark Haynes. They're all pro cornerback. He, of course, represented by Howard Schlusher. He is a holdout. Casey Merrill, also represented by Howard Schlusher, is a holdout. And the Houston Oilers have a pair of first-round draft picks that are holdouts. Defensive end Ray Childress and Richard Johnson, the first-round pick as a defensive back. Second down and 7. Woolfolk. He stays on his feet. He'll get in, but he still has those 2-a-day legs, if you will, and he gets to the 7-yard line. And that's what it's like, isn't it, Juice, when you're working twice a day? You can't get them under you.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Frank. You work so hard in practice. You got to block the linebackers. You got to practice running the ball so much that your legs get a little tight. And I think if this was the league season and the players had the opportunity to rest those legs, Butch would have scored on this play. He made a real nice move there, but the legs just couldn't carry him into the end zone.
Giants came with a safety blitz that time, by the way, and Woolfolk got outside. You're right, he could have scored that time.
Mike Rozier, single setback now. Of course, has come from Jacksonville of the USFL with great numbers this year, over 1,300 yards, and he gets it down inside the 1, where it'll be second down, goal to go.
Coach Hugh Campbell must be happy with the way the Oilers are moving the ball, because they're going up against one of the better defensive teams in football. It is a preseason game, but that giant defensive unit is a veteran one, and they've been able to not only run the ball, but, not only pass it, but run the ball effectively, and that's something they were unable to do last year.
Oh, they were 23rd in the entire league rushing last year, and Hugh Campbell's turning this team around. He's not respecting any of the old newspaper clippings. He's going with the young people, except with perhaps the acquisition of this man, Mike Rozier, who tried to go over the top and was held short. He's not looking for celebrities. He's looking for football players. Watch Taylor. He is agile.
He can do it all. He has an instinct for the ball. That's why I think they line him up so far from the line of scrimmage on this play, because they say he can work his way to the ball wherever it goes. And you saw on that play, he came up very fast and kept him from getting the touchdown.
Well, over 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. There's no score, but the Oilers are threatening with a third down and goal to go inside the 1 of the Giants. Play action by Moon. And he fires it to McCluskey. And no, he came down out of bounds. Mike McCluskey, third-year man out of Penn State. Moon has quite a presence out there, Joe.
He sure does. Well, he did a heck of a job while he was up there in Canada, as we all know by now. I like this play action right here. It was a good pass. It just got a little high, and a nice catch. But we ran out of room down here.
We talked about the play action. There was play action. Lawrence Taylor didn't even look at it.
Lawrence is smart enough to know what's going on. He was reading the receivers coming off the line that time. And you have to have 2 feet in bounds, by the way, here in professional football before it's a completed pass.
You made a good point. A lot of times you can get great play action, but if the defender is reading other keys, as Taylor was then, reading the receiver coming off, that play action is totally wasted. That's exactly what happened. Joe Cooper for the conversion attempt. And rather the field goal attempt, and the Oilers score first. 18-yard attempt. Cooper splits the uprights. We'll be back in Canton, Ohio in a moment.
Who says you can't have it all? Who says you can't be on the job and take your eye off the ball?
Who says you can't have super premium taste and a less filling beer?
Michelob Light. Oh, yes, you can. Michelob Light. Oh, yes, you can. Michelob Light. Oh, yes, you can. Have it all.
Here to tell you, nice and neat, why you should eat what the big boys eat. Pure and simple toasted wheat. A great big crunch that's not too sweet. So hey, banana, move aside. This big flake's got nothing to hide. Pure and simple toasted wheat. Wheaties, Wheaties, what the big boys eat.
Part of your good breakfast.
When you drive a tough Ford truck, there's one place you'll want to be.
On the road again. My Ford truck and me on the road again. Work or play, there can't be any tougher friend. I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Just can't wait to see what's around the bend. When you drive a Ford, you're driving with a friend. My Ford truck and me on the road again.
The finest golfers in the world gather for the last major title of the year. Live coverage of the PGA Championship begins next Saturday on ABC Sports.
32. He made it famous, and it's been a famous number, but our congratulations to O.J. Simpson, who went into the Hall of Fame today, his first year of eligibility. Juice, you did it all. It must have felt awfully good.
Yeah, it did. You know, to think about all the tough early years I had in Buffalo, when I had given up that I would have an opportunity to make it. I didn't think I would have the years in to make it to the Hall of Fame, but Lou Saban came, put the electric company together, and here I am.
And turned you loose. All right, you saw Lee Johnson bang it through the end zone.
He did bang it. That was a line drive that went over their heads.
Joe Cooper is the regular field goal kicker. They had Lee Johnson in there with the bare foot kicking it deep. I don't know about that barefoot kicking routine, Joe.
I can't understand it. First of all, the guy doesn't have that great an average because kicking it that way. And come wintertime, as we mentioned before, I think he's going to have to suffer a little bit when he gets up in the cold weather. Down there in Houston in the Astrodome, it's not so bad.
On first down, over the middle, Zeke Mowat, the completion for the Giants. He's out over the 30 for a first down. Lee Johnson tried that barefoot kicking in New England about December the 14th.
Hey, try Buffalo. Try Buffalo next month.
A broken foot. The Oilers dropped back into a zone defense. Oh, no.
Phil Simms shaken up.
I hope
it's his right hand.
His passing hand. A couple of years ago, he broke a finger in that passing hand.
His thumb, and he had come back in 2 years ago and was trying to win his job back. They sent him in, and he got that thumb tangled up in a headgear, and he was out for the rest of the season. They apparently are looking at that right hand again. And meanwhile, Jeff Rutledge comes into the lineup for the Giants. We will get a report as quickly as we can from the Giants bench as to the status of Phil Simms, but they, at the moment, are working on his right hand.
It's funny, these type of things can happen in any game, but it just seems that the longer you keep your veterans in the first preseason game, the more these things happen.
You know, they're looking at that thumb, too, and, oh, goodness, I hope it's not severe. This man had some very bad luck early on in his career with injuries, and that's the only thing that's kept him out of some Pro Bowls. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the game, and we can keep him healthy.
In 1980, he had a shoulder separation. 1981, another shoulder. Scott Bruner kind of took over the job. In 82, it was a knee. And preseason, he was out all the year. And in 83, in his first long appearance, as I mentioned, he broke that thumb. And he is out now. They're looking at it, right hand. Jeff Rutledge, as I mentioned, in the lineup. Acquired from the Los Angeles Rams 2 years ago. Never really caught on as a starter. Started a few games for the Rams and started a couple for the Giants. Good running back as well as passer. Fires over the middle, and it's complete. It goes to Byron Williams, short of the first down near the 39-yard line.
Way to go, Jeff. You know, he's a fellow alumnus from University of Alabama. It's not the easiest thing in the world to come right off the bench, go into a game, and throw a pass. But the weather's nice here right now, so he's still warmed up from earlier in the day. Come on, Sims, be healthy. Come on,
They're
buddy.
going to take him into the locker room. It looks like the little pinky on the right hand. If you're going to get one, you may as well get that one. Second down long, 2. Carpenter. Right side, and Carpenter draws pretty much all of the Oilers, but he'll have the first down out to about the 43-yard line.
Yeah, they've taken Sims to the locker room, I believe. Oh, well, you know, they played that defensive end on Houston's left side off the line about 2 yards in both of those short yardage situations, and the Giants have run right at him, and they've gotten the first down.
Well, they do that because Elvin Bethea used to play that way, and he had been around long enough to read the stance of the lineman, and every defensive end can't play it that way.
First down, play action by Rutledge, trying to get it deep. Rutledge right on target. Byron Williams, the receiver. Yes, he's in bounds at the 21-yard line.
And if Jeff Rutledge throw many more passes like that, Phil Sims will stay in the locker room.
You know, the Giants are fortunate to have a backup like Rutledge. Here they're playing man-to-man coverage again, and with the rule changes this year, I don't know why Byron Williams isn't turning around and looking for the ball. A nice catch by Steve Brown. Byron Johnson caught the ball. Excuse me, Steve Brown, the defender.
And the word is that there was a cut on the hand of Phil Sims. We will try to get a further report. First down and 10. Carpenter inside the 22, about the 18. A gain of a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Jesse Baker defensively there.
It's always interesting to watch Bob Carpenter when he runs outside. Even if it looks like there's rooms out there, he's always looking to cut back. He is not an outside runner. One of the reasons they drafted George Adams as the #1 draft choice, we hope to see him later on, is to give them that outside running game. They're going to win against the big, better teams in this league. They must run outside.
Second down, and they have marked it near the 17, so it'll be second down and 7. Jeff Rutledge back again.
Bingo.
Fires into the end zone. It's complete to Joe Morris. Touchdown, Giants. And Rutledge completes a pair of big ones and puts the Giants on the scoreboard. An 18-yard touchdown pass, Jeff Rutledge.
Tell you, Joe Morris came on real strongly. Last year, he came on real strong, running the ball as well as catching the ball. And I guess he's trying to tell the Giants they don't need George Adams, that they've had that outside runner and that receiver out of the backfield all along. For a guy his height, that was one beautiful catch.
He's been doing amazing things all of his career. At Syracuse, he broke the records, all the records that remained from some pretty good backs. I'm talking about Jimmy Brown, Floyd Little, Larry Zonka. He's little, but there's a lot of him. Ali Haji Sheikh for the conversion, and the Giants take the lead 7-3 in the closing seconds of the first quarter here in Canton, Ohio. And sparked by Jeff Rutledge. Good shot to Byron Williams, and then the touchdown shot. Here it is, Joe Morris, who gets 5'7" way up in the air.
He stretches for it all the way. He does have some good hands. You know, the reason he was open that time is the free safety went across the field and helped on the inside with the tight end, and the 2 linebackers simply didn't get deep enough to stay up with Morrison. Morris.
Giants set to kick off. To remind you, next Saturday at a special time on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Olympic gold medalist Rick Carey, Mary T. Mager, and more compete at the U.S. Long Course Swimming Championships. Plus a look at a really very daring event from Siena, Italy, the no-holds-barred horse race. All on ABC's Wide World of Sports at a special time, remember, 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central, and 5 o'clock Pacific time next Saturday right here on ABC. Deep for the Houston Oilers, Steve Tasker, number 14. Willie Drury is back there.
Hey, how about the job Jeff Rutledge just did? Came off the bench, took him right down there, tied the ball game up.
Well, you can't win in this league unless you have a capable second unit quarterback.
His passing ability really was never tested that much at Alabama. They ran the wishbone.
That's Tasker. And Tasker found an opening on the right side, and Tasker's out close to the 40-yard line. Hit there by Clint Harris. And they did use him a lot on the wishbone, but He did. I think he broke one of your records, didn't he,
you
Joe?
had to
30
tell him.
touchdown passes?
Yeah,
I didn't even write that down. It just popped into my head.
Well, they say the running game sets up the passing game. When you have a good wishbone attack and a guy that can throw the ball a little bit, he should get a lot of touchdowns.
You sound like a coach. There's a way out of everything, isn't there? There's Jeff Rutledge, originally picked by Los Angeles Rams. Got a couple of starts out there because of injuries. Came to the Giants 2 years ago. First and 10, Houston. They now trail the Giants 7-3. Coach Woolfolk. Woolfolk running well today. Gain of 7 before Carl Banks drops him. And when we come back to start the second quarter, the Oilers will have a 2nd down and 3. We'll be back after this.
No matter how things change or how we live today, the best things in life are done the original way. Enjoy something original. Secret herbs and spices taste naturally better somehow.
Kentucky Fried Chicken original recipe. We've been doing chicken right for 40 years. We're not going to change it now.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. Enjoy something original now.
There is nothing more basic to a child's development than love. When a child reaches out for that love and finds instead neglect, abuse, and violence, there's no deeper scar, no more basic hurt.
Billy is getting hurt so badly by the grown-up that it's leaving bruises and cuts and broken bones on his body. Why would they abuse their child like that? What do you think?
Maybe she's on drugs and that makes her do that.
As United Way volunteers, Tim Smith of the Houston Oilers and his wife Beth support this wonderful program that teaches children to be on guard against a child abuser.
In a language children can understand, they learn that no one has the right to abuse and violate them.
They may never have to use the information they learn here today. We hope they never will. But because of this program and others like it, they'll know how to get help.
United Way. Thanks to you, it works for all of us.
We're going to take another look at that touchdown right now in a replay, and as you'll see, the free safety at the top of the screen will cross the field and leave the back wide open. Jeff takes a good drop. He has good technique, and Joe Morris is in behind the 2 linebackers. They simply did not get deep enough. A grand catch, too. Go ahead, Joe.
Amazing how high he got up there. Now the Giants have the lead, 7-3 as we begin the second quarter. Pretty well played football game considering the 2 days both teams have worked. Houston Oilers have moved the ball well, mostly with Butch Woolfolk on the ground. A couple of strikes by Warren Moon. 2nd down now and 4. Woolfolk once again, and Woolfolk is having himself quite a day inside Giant territory at the 49-yard line. He only carried the ball 40 times a year ago for the Giants for 92 yards. We'll take a look at the first quarter numbers.
Most of those rushing yards are Butch's, and Butch's has already gained more yardage in this game than he did in any single game for the Giants last year.
Well, they just flat didn't play him towards the end of last season. Joe Morris came on, performed very well for the Giants, and that quite obviously was why the Giants felt they could trade him, which they did, to Houston for a 3rd.
Oh, he can run.
What a bootleg.
Hello.
Here comes Lawrence Taylor. Pulls up on Moon. Moon looked in, saw that 56, said, hey, I got the first. I'm getting out of here.
These guys really are going all out to win this football game. I tell you, I would think you'd want to save a play like that for the regular season. But as you know, I mean, we've been saying that these guys want to win the football game. The Houston Oilers want to get this winning established so they can carry it on into the season. They've had it down a couple of years.
I'm sure that play was designed, Joe, to be a pass. But Warren Moon has always been a rollout quarterback. He rolled out naked on that play. That means with no blocking. And he's at University of Washington and in Canada. He's always been one of the finer running quarterbacks.
He could have just missed the handoff, too.
First down at the 40-yard line. Stan Edwards, big back out of Michigan, pulling ahead for 3, perhaps 4 yards, up to the 36-yard line. Bring up 2nd down and a long 6.
Yeah, we have a Michigan backfield here. Stan Edwards and Butch Woolfolk both played together at the University of Michigan. Obviously, what the Oilers have done in the entire training camp is to try to improve this running game, and Butch Woolfolk, I think, lost his confidence with the Giants. He got a lot of criticism early in his career, and for a running back, you can't criticize him if you want him to run effectively.
Of course, their best running back is a holdout, Larry Moriarty. Moon is complete. He goes to Drew Hill. Drew Hill has another Oiler first down.
This Drew Hill, I think, is going to really surprise these Oilers also and a lot of people around the league. He really didn't play that much with the Rams, but a few years ago, he was one of the better kick returners, and he's one of the better runners after he catches the ball in football. As you can see, it's a straight drop back, and Drew, they're respecting his speed. He runs a simple turnout, or stop, really, catches the ball and does what he does real well. Almost made the man miss.
On 1st and 10, Woolfolk stumbles, lunges forward, gets inside the 20-yard line again. Fine running by Butch Woolfolk. He'll get another 4 yards out of it.
The offensive line of these Oilers are doing one super job. I think everyone around the league believes that this may be the offensive line of the future. They got some great young talent. Of course, Mike Munchak has already gone to the Pro Bowl. You're looking at Bruce Matthews and Dean Steinkooler, guys they think are future All-Pros.
2nd down and 6. Tim Smith. One of his top receivers, put up to the top of your screen. Warren Moon has a good drop. He's quick getting back there. Fires again to Drew Hill, and Drew Hill will be close to another 1st down. I think he has it near the 11-yard line. And Warren Moon is looking good to me. I've watched him a couple of times on television last year, Joe, but he has such confidence. He gets into that set position so quickly.
He's a sensational veteran, Frank. As a matter of fact, you know, that time downfield, they had our tight end Jamie Williams was wide open. The Giants went into a double-double, what we call a double-double zone coverage, and he split the seam down the middle, was wide open. I look for him to come back to it later in the game.
On 1st and 10, Butch Woolfolk. Good running Woolfolk inside the 5. This time Woolfolk with another 6 yards, and he's averaging over 9 yards a carry. He has got to feel awfully good about this. He's not going to negate the trade, but he is showing his former teammates, the coaches, hey, look, I wasn't what you thought I was. I wasn't what you made a lot of people think I was when you traded me.
And that's what you want to see with your running back, see if he has the ability to make a man miss. He made the first guy miss. The guy caused him to be tackled, but he gained an extra 3 yards anyway.
2nd down, goal to go. Woolfolk, the workhorse down here, hammered at about the 1-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down, goal to go. And the word is that Phil Simms has been taken to the local hospital to have some stitches on his pinky finger of his right hand. So that's a little better than what we thought when he first went off the field. He looked to be in a lot of pain, and of course we harken back to 2 years ago when he shattered the thumb on his right hand.
And yeah, the passing hand, the little finger on the passing hand is very important. That controls the football. If you injure the middle fingers, you have a chance to throw the ball some. But without the little finger, you're not going to be able to throw the ball at all. And, well,
the best part of it,
not serious.
The best part of it is, Joe, there is no word of any kind of a fracture. We don't know that for sure, but the word is it's just a cut. And let's face it, it's a long way until September the 8th.
It sure is, but I know Phil would like to get some work here in training camp, too. Work on that passing game.
There are things you work on in training camp, you know, regular yardage, long yardage, and short yardage. Short yardage is the workout like this on the 1-foot-yard line that no one likes in practice, and I'm sure the coaches will be paying attention to who's the tough guys now.
1st down, goal to go. You saw the measurement. Warren Moon over the top. No, he doesn't get it.
And you don't want the tough guy to be your quarterback.
Well, that's just straight out question. What did you guys think of training camp? I know what you thought of it, Joe. You were always late.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, you're right. I love training camp, actually. I enjoyed practicing football all the time, but I didn't like playing 6 exhibition games, and that's what we did most of my career. We played 6. I always felt like 4 was the right number. These two teams, of course, are playing 5, but 4 games in exhibition season is about the right number.
Were you ever hold out, O.J.? I don't recall.
I missed an entire preseason once and showed up for a Monday night game.
Yeah, and showed off, as I recall. Came in, played a little bit, had an exceptional night. Made it look like spring training was a farce. They hold Moon short again.
Coach Hugh Campbell can't be happy with this now.
How would you work on this to begin with? You're working as a scrimmage here. You know, quarterback sneak doesn't need a whole lot of work.
Now, you don't want to go the whole season believing you don't have a fullback that can get you that half a yard. Now, they went down the field on a previous drive, and they bogged down on about the 1 or 2 yard line, and it appears as if they may bog down here.
Well, they got Mike Rozier in there. Great numbers out of Nebraska. Sure as Jacksonville. Rozier. Well, maybe Campbell knows something we don't know. And it'll be 4th down now, and goal to go, and the Giants defense is getting a little excited. They're a proud unit, I can tell you that for sure.
Well, I hope they go for it here. The crowd's behind them. They want to see a touchdown, and I know the Houston Oilers do not want to be turned back 4 straight down.
Well, you saw Rozier going those, big Harry Carson and Lawrence Taylor. Those are 2 guys you don't want to meet on the goal line.
2 Pro Bowlers, and they stop. Rozier short. 4th down, goal to go. Crowd is getting into this.
Somebody went offside.
And he didn't make it.
No, and he doesn't make it. They had a 1st down, goal to go at the 1-yard line. 2 quarterback sneaks. Rozier, Woolfolk, and they were held short. It's training camp. It is a meaningless game other than personal pride, but that makes a defensive unit feel awfully good.
That makes it feel really good. Oh, boy.
Good camera work on Harry Carson.
About this. Harry, I saw in the hotel yesterday. I was surprised that he's as tall as he is. I always thought he was a kind of a short guy, but he is 6'2" and change.
Bill Parcells has to love it. He came up as a defensive coordinator. That's still his first love. We'll be back.
When do you say L.A.?
When I'm at a party, people expect me to sing, to dance, to tell jokes, to entertain them all night long. I say L.A. It's a great tasting premium beer from Anheuser-Busch with half the alcohol. Sometimes it's the perfect thing to say. When the party is finished and you call it a day, you'll be glad you said make mine L.A. Hey, that rhymes.
George, you're also a poet.
I think I'm getting another inspiration.
L.A. Sometimes it's the perfect thing to say.
It's simple physics. Pistons in today's 4-cylinder engines work harder than in 8-cylinder engines. That's why there's new STP 4-cylinder oil treatment. Look, independent lab tests show key molecules in most oils are breaking down after just 500 miles. But STP is specially formulated, adding molecules to help prevent dirt buildup and to flex to fight motor oil breakdown. New STP 4-cylinder oil treatment. Big protection for your small engine.
Old Spice deodorant is over 70% ethyl alcohol. This much. As the alcohol evaporates, so does some of your protection. Unlike Old Spice, Speed Stick deodorant has no alcohol. The wide stick gives you man-sized protection that won't evaporate. Speed Stick protection that's more effective than Old Spice even after 24 hours. We believe alcohol and deodorant don't mix. All-day protection that won't evaporate. Speed Stick, the wide stick.
Harry Carson, Pro Bowl again last year, 6 times out of his 10-year career. Here's so much about Lawrence Taylor, but I tell you, when offensive coordinators look at films, they see a lot of Harry Carson when they're studying the Giants. From the 1-yard line, and the new quarterback for the Giants is Jeff Hostetler out of West Virginia. There he is. In his 2nd year, was active all of last year, but did not play a down. He was a 3rd-round draft pick last year. He began at Penn State and then transferred to West Virginia for his best 2 years. He was an academic All-American, I might point out, too. He passed for over 4,000 yards and 24 touchdowns in his collegiate career. So Jeff Hostetler at 6'3", 212, is the quarterback now for the Giants. On 2nd down and 8.
Oh, yes.
George Adams, he's the rookie 1st-round draft pick out of Kentucky. And a little bit of everything did Adams do for Kentucky. He was the leading receiver and leading rusher for 3 consecutive years. He's 6'1", 225 pounds, and the Giants have a lot of hopes for this young man. Yep. He has looked great in training camp.
Yes, he has. They say he has the outside speed and he catches the ball well. And if this offensive unit for the Giants are going to carry them back to the playoffs and maybe further into the playoffs than they went last year, this guy is going to have to gain a lot of yards and catch a few passes.
Over 4,200 yards overall in his career at Kentucky. Number 33, George Adams. They work him again on 3rd and 1. And he just hustles for the 1 and then tacks on a couple more for the 1st down near the 13-yard line.
That's good offense. When you have your backs to the wall, 1-foot line, first of all, Hostetler coming in that situation had to be a little bit nervous. He got him out of the hole. Now they have some working room. That's darn good offense. The offensive line has to be feeling good now.
Listen to this quarterback. He got him out of the hole. It's the running back that got him out of the hole.
Easy, easy. Giants have not had a run over 30 yards since the opening game of 1983. That'll tell you something. That is the big tight end from Notre Dame, the rookie Bavaro, that they are calling Rambo in the Giants training camp. They love this youngster. They got him in the 4th round, and they really think that he has a great opportunity to become a top tight end in the league.
I saw this young man Hostetler throw the football in college, and I like his motion. He comes right over the top, a good release, and he's right down the middle. The Oilers were in a double coverage again, and he just simply split the seam. The 2 safeties went to the outside men. They covered the outside men and left the middle open.
Adams got in trouble, turned it back in, got close to the line of scrimmage. That play designed to go outside. Nothing happening there. Good play by the cornerback.
That was a great play by Alvin Riley, number 53 of the Oilers, a slightly underrated linebacker in this league. They feel he may be the most consistent linebackers they have here with the Oilers from UCLA.
They open with John Grimsley at one linebacker because John Grimsley played his high school football right on this field for Canton McKinley. We are watching Robert Abraham now in there for the Oilers, defensively a linebacker. 2nd down and 11. Hofstetter with a lot of time, and in and out of the hands, incomplete. It was Stacy Robinson, the 2nd round draft pick from North Dakota State, who could not hold on.
You know, we saw a moment ago that Hostetler was at Penn State for 2 years and then transferred to West Virginia. The reason for that was there was another quarterback at Penn State called Todd Blackley.
He throws a lot like him. Remind you at halftime, a look at the very moving Hall of Fame induction ceremonies that included my 2 colleagues in the booth, Joe Namath and O.J. Simpson. We'll also be getting a report on the baseball strike, which is heating up. We're hearing a lot more voices on it now. August the 6th, of course, is the deadline, and it's drawing ever closer. 3rd down and 11. Hofstetter. This time just throwing it away. A good move.
Hey, well, they had a blitz
the tight
on
end was
that
down
time.
there. Hostetler just got rid of it.
They had a blitz on that time. Jeff Donaldson came free, and he had to get out of the pocket.
That'll bring up 4th down, and the Houston Oilers trot out rookie Willie Drury from West Virginia for their return man. And we're going to look at a different punter for the Giants, Joe Prokop. He's from Cal Poly. Tried with the Rams a year ago, but had been training for 2 years to be an Olympic decathlon. Pulled a hamstring and did not make the Olympic team, and was not really ready for that tryout a year ago with the Rams. And he has shown well in the Giants training camp. He's a left-footed kicker. Wears a shoe, however. And hurries this one. It's low, and Willie Drury will have a lot of time to take it back. And he almost pops it out to the 35-yard line. They'll mark it out over the 35-yard line, where it'll be 1st down Houston. A little more than 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. The Giants on top, 7-3.
I'm 32 years old, and I love Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Brave adults are coming forward to challenge the notion that Frosted Flakes is just a kid's cereal.
I know there's a tiger in the box. I like the taste, okay?
Because you love them as a kid doesn't mean you can't love them as an adult.
One day, our neighbor saw the package on the table.
And we don't even have children.
With that extra crunch and milk, that frosting just right, that taste is great as ever.
Well, they've always been my favorite. So dig in. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great. This is the skid pad, the ultimate test in adhesion, where car and tire get pushed to the limit, where for the first time, a street tire on a standard production car achieved 0.95 G. The Goodyear Eagle VR50, engineered for cars with the proper qualifications.
In today's hurry-up world, it isn't easy to keep a good driving record. But for those of us who do, Allstate has some good news. Allstate's Shape Up and Save rates and discounts. If you keep your driving record in shape, Allstate could save you money on your car insurance. So drive safely and keep your record shaped up. Allstate will help you keep the cost of your insurance down.
Shape up and save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Olympic gold medalist Rick Carey and many more at the U.S. Long Course Swimming Championships. Plus, anything goes in Italy's no-holds-barred horse race on ABC's Wide World of Sports at a special time next Saturday.
Warren Moon, he had some pretty effective numbers for the Oilers, who struggled through a 13-3 season a year ago. Over 57%, 12 touchdowns, over 30,000 yards, or 30,000, over 3,000 yards. On first down, Wolfo out over the 35 for a pickup of a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Of course, they have baseball action going on around the country today, keeping you up to date on it. They're in the 7th inning. New York over Chicago 8-3. What a loss New York suffered last night. Winfield tied it up in the 10th, if you were there, watching it, and then the White Sox stayed with them. That game, I think Tom Seaver is going for win number 300. We'll keep you abreast of that. That's tomorrow. He'll be going for win number 300. Second down and 7. Warren Moon. Butch Woolfolk out over the 40 to the 41-yard line. A gain of only about 3 yards on that. It'll be third down and about 4, and we'll keep Warren Moon in the passing situation.
You might wonder why a back would come out of the backfield and run a pattern 3 or 4 yards short of the first down. Obviously, he was not the primary receiver, Joe, and his job was to hold the linebacker, and the linebacker just dropped off him, and the quarterback had to throw the ball to him.
That's a good point. Dan Edwards, single setback for the Houston Oilers. Warren Moon looking for the tight end, and is deflected and knocked away. Jamie Williams, the intended receiver. Once again, the speed and the agility of Sir Lawrence.
And the head of Sir Lawrence.
Watch him again. They let him cover tight ends all the way. They'll let him go all the way with Jamie Williams. That was his man. He'd have taken him deep downfield also.
That's using all
like
the
I
equipment.
Said, how skillfully played. Lee Johnson on to punt. Barefooted left-footed kicker, Phil McConkey, former Navy football player who, like Roger Staubach, had to wait 4 years and serve his mandatory 4 years before he could play.
Do you think you start kicking like that as a child when you don't wear shoes? Just get so used to it?
Or don't have them?
Yeah, don't have them.
McConkey out back over the 30-yard line near the 32. A punt of 40 yards that was rushed by Lee Johnson. He still hasn't hit one like the ones that we watched him in practice. We'll be back.
Don't be alarmed. You're watching a man at work.
Let's see. I know it's here somewhere. Ah, found it.
I remember we were panicked. Find a home that last day or fly home not knowing where we'd live. But our Century 21 broker wouldn't give up.
He showed us the last house late that night. And guess what? Perfect and at the right price. How do you find people like that?
All you gotta do is pick up the phone. Put number 1 to work for you. Century 21.
August Best Buys. Just in time for school.
School? This clamp-on lamp goes anywhere for just $3.99.
It'll light up your study area.
Study? The Spartus digital alarm clock is $6.99, but with a $5 rebate, the actual cost is only $1.99.
Now we won't miss the school bus.
School bus.
The snack pack backpack with an insulated lunchbox is just $7.44.
Lunch here, homework here.
Homework!
Ace is the place.
Who says you can't have it all? Who says you can't work overtime and take the time to enjoy it all?
Who says you can't have super premium taste and a less filling beer?
Michelob Light. Oh, yes, you can. Michelob Light. Oh, yes, you can. Michelob Light. Oh, yes, you can. Have it all.
John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. The Blues Brothers. Sunday.
Maurice Carthen is in for the Giants. Of course, he played this last season, played out his option with the New Jersey Generals. And you might have been reading that NFL teams could sign USFL players after August 1st. Well, there's been a moratorium put on that signing by the National Football League. They had understood that any USFL player who did not sign an 86 contract by August 1st would be regarded as a free agent. That, however, apparently is not the case, or there's some misunderstanding. So the moratorium on USFL football players that can be signed with the NFL is again in existence. Hofstetler and gets to the 35-yard line. He'll get about 3 yards out of that to bring up second down and 7. Carthen, of course, had a big year 2 years ago. He's in there now again, as I mentioned, a setback for the Giants when Herschel Walker had a very bad shoulder. Carthen came on and had a 1,000-yard season. And he, of course, played out his option, is now in that backfield. In a backfield I think the Giants would like to see over the year, Carthen and George Adams, the rookie first-round draft pick from Kentucky. They're exactly the same size, 6'1", 225 pounds. That was Adams. To the 38-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and 4. Mention that at halftime we'll be watching the ceremonies that are so moving here annually at Canton, Ohio. There they are, my 2 colleagues, with Frank Gadsky, the great center for the Cleveland Browns in the 50s, and of course Roger Staubach. We'll hear parts of all of their acceptance speeches. 3rd down and 4. Ball at the 38-yard line of the Giants. The Giants are leading the Houston Oilers here in the first preseason game of the 1985 season, 7-3 with 3:45 remaining in the half. You saw the offsides, and Hofstetler in trouble. Gets it out complete to Tony Galbraith, who has first down yardage. Jesse Baker looked like he was offside.
I thought Damian Johnson, the tackle, actually moved the offensive tackle and drew him offside.
Well, I was about to say it's been an excellent first half as far as penalties are concerned. There's only been 1, and normally you have many more in the first preseason game.
I think you're right, too, Joe. They were pulled off. There's the indication against the Giants. Giants have really had trouble with that offensive line. I think any Giants fan is aware that they have lost William Roberts, the starting left tackle, with a knee injury earlier. We'll get the official call here.
Illegal motion, left tackle on the offense, still 3rd down.
And of course pulling Jesse Baker off. I mentioned William Roberts out for the season with a knee injury. They lost their offensive man, Kelvin Belcher, who could play so many positions and really was a key man for him last year. So they are kind of trying to figure out who are we going to go with. 3rd down, long yardage from the shotgun, Jeff Hostetler. Hostetler goes down in the arms of Jesse Baker. Baker is playing quite a game. He's gone all the way thus far, and he just came into camp a few days ago. He was a brief holdout with the Oilers, but far and away their best pass rusher.
All right, here we have a look at the defense. They have 5 down linemen. They bring all 5 of them and cross the Giants up. Here we have a man-to-man coverage downfield. He just didn't have time to get the ball off. He might have had somebody open down here at the bottom of the screen.
A good picture if you're really into this game, because the blitz was on and you saw he just did not have time to get to those receivers. Willie Drury is deep for the Oilers. Prokop, a rookie from Cal Poly, hunting once again for the Giants. This time he catches one. Did not have the height, though, and you can run those back. Okay. Hey, it does not do a whole lot of good to kick the ball 80 yards on a line, because they're going to run it back 35 or 40 before they get to the traffic. So Houston will have the football back at the 42-yard line. A punt of 49 yards and a 16-yard return. August 19th. We'll be there. A couple of pretty fair quarterbacks going there.
Mr. Elway and Mr. Montana, we have the best and possibly potentially the best.
You really think so about John Elway?
Yeah, I think he's that strong.
What a fine athlete. We know that Montana is. On 1st and 10. Ooh, Moon strong arms it to Drew Hill. He's having quite a day. Now he put some smoke on that one.
Yeah, he did. He stuck it right in there. Our cornerback now for the Giants isn't a regular, Charles McDaniel. I think he's a little bit nervous out there. Earlier in the game, I saw him foul up a coverage or just flat get pulled. He'll loosen up a little bit.
And again, as we mentioned earlier, Mark Haynes is a holdout with the Giants. As is Casey Merrill, on the defensive end. Good pass rusher, the best pass rusher at the end of last season for the Giants. 1st down and 10.
Oh, yes.
Dan Edwards. Look at Edwards run to the 25-yard line for another Oiler 1st down.
Dan Edwards showed some good running ability on that play. You know, he's from Michigan. It's a simple draw play. As you can see, number 32, wearing the right number and running like a number 32. Joe, you could have run through that hole, but this is something you may not have been able to do, break a few tackles.
That's right. Mike Kelly of the Houston Oilers did a heck of a job that time. He threw a terrific block on the linebacker that opened up that hole.
And the seconds tick down to the 2-minute warning here at Foster Stadium in Canton, Ohio. Warren Moon moves over to visit with Hugh Campbell, and we will alert you that we'll be back in a moment.
Ford Ranger's the one to take on the road again, or four-wheeling off-road. It's the small pickup that's built Ford Tough. There's a fuel-injected 4-cylinder engine or V6 power, unbeaten by any small V6 pickup. The tough Ford Ranger. That's the way to get on the road again. The best-built American trucks are built. Ford Tough.
You just don't want to admit it, do you, Shelley? Come on. Look, who was the original Pepsi freak in our group?
I know. Coke's been winning taste tests all over the country.
Yeah, know why? Shelley? Well, it's what? It's... Gotta go. What's your hurry, Shelley? Thanks a lot.
Coca-Cola, have we got a taste for you?
It'll work on your dandruff.
Yeah, but I'm afraid it won't leave my hair the way I like it.
Hey, this is great stuff.
Today's Head & Shoulders.
It's all I use.
Okay.
Tough dandruff protection that works only on your scalp, not your hair. Gentle conditioners go there.
Tough on dandruff, right?
But great on hair.
Today's Head & Shoulders. Dandruff care that's good for your hair.
A beautiful day, certainly a beautiful day in Canton, Ohio for the first week in August. We have been coming here for many, many years, and we have suffered many, many times, but the temperature is right around 75, 80 degrees, just beautiful. The humidity is down, and I'll tell you one thing, the players appreciate it more than we do.
Yeah. I think the players appreciate being here because they've been practicing against each other for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's just good to see a stranger to play against.
2 minutes remaining in the first half. First and 10, Houston. They trail the Giants 7-3. They're at the Giants' 25-yard line.
There it is.
Wide open was Tim Smith, and Warren Moon overthrew the ball. The Houston Oilers, as a matter of fact, have been up working against the Denver Broncos for the past few days. They've been scrimmaging with the Broncos, so they have perhaps had a little more contact against the enemy, so to speak, than the Giants have.
They do that a lot more than they did when I came into the league, Joe. Did you guys during training camp spend a lot of time practicing with other teams?
I think we did it once. We scrimmaged against the Philadelphia Eagles one time in the 12 years I was with the Jets.
Second down and 10. Warren Moon. Edwards will lose about a yard on that. We didn't do it when I was playing, travel around with other teams, because we couldn't afford it.
Well, I'm noticing that many teams, I see where the Raiders changed their training camp, and they're a little closer to the Cowboys, and they've scrimmaged one another. So I guess teams are moving in certain areas so they can take advantage of that proximity and see their young players play against, other people.
We've got ourselves a real fire drill down there. There's a lot of players coming in and out on both teams. We'll try to keep them all straight. Woolfolk is now back in. Stan Edwards, number 32. The other setback, Woolfolk, of course, is number 40. Moon, 10 of 15 for 80 yards, and he's going up top again. Goes to the tight end, Jamie Williams, who will get only about 3 yards out of that as he goes down in the arms of Lawrence Taylor. Flag is down. Red Cashin working a pretty clean football game this early in the season. We've seen a few flags. That procedure call indicated against the Houston Oilers, and now the options will be discussed.
I think the officials are letting the guys play a little bit, too. They know it's early in training camp, and they probably could. It's been said they could call holding every play in a football game if they really wanted to.
Formation by the offense, not 7 men on the line. The penalty is declined. It'll be 4th down.
Well, both teams are beginning to substitute, and I think that may have something to do with a few penalties here in the second half.
Someone forgot to go in. Yeah, that's a rule in football. You have to have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. You can have more than 7, 8, 9, 10 of them if you want to, but you have to have 7, no less than 7.
And you know what? They pay a lot of attention now to the bow of that offensive line.
This is Florian Kemp. He was a kicker last year until he was injured, and they brought on Joe Cooper, who had a pretty good year, and they're trying to see if Kemp can get his job back. 39-yard attempt. Kemp is good from 39 yards out, and the Oilers reduce the margin of Giants' lead to 1 point. Giants leading 7-6. We have 1 minute remaining in the first half from Kemp.
Warming up, feeling neat, 'cause she's eating what the big boys eat. It's pure and simple toasted wheat, a spunky taste that's not too sweet.
crunchy stuff. And I like that. Can't get enough of that. Pure and simple toasted wheat. Now go get your Wheaties. That's what this girl eats. Watch out, big boys.
Canton, Ohio has been filled this past week with people who have come to visit the Hall of Fame and take part in the festivities that included a parade this morning, a municipal dinner last night at which political figures abounded. Speaker of the House, Tip O'Neill, was here. Congressman Jap Kemp, among others. And, of course, many celebrity types. Steve Allen, who has written the Hall of Fame song, was there last night, as were the 5 inductees that you'll be hearing from at halftime. And, of course, many other returning Hall of Famers. The class of 10 years ago and the class of 20 well represented. 1 minute remaining now in the first half. Giants leading 7-6. Lee Johnson, the punter, boots it high and long. Kenny Hill loses it, and it bounced through the end zone, and it'll be a touchback, and the Giants will get the football at the 20-yard line. Not many rule changes this year. There have been just a few. One of them that I think is going to have quite an impact this year, and my 2 colleagues are getting ready to go down and be escorted around Fossa Stadium here, and the tribute being paid to them. And once again, I remind you, we will be hearing from both O.J. and Joe Namath on this, the day of their induction, which took place right before the football game. But the rule that I think we're going to see that really have an impact this year is they have really liberalized the way a defensive back can go for the football.
They're going to give him a lot more freedom downfield. He can bump the receiver as long as he's going for the ball.
From the shotgun, Hostetler remains the Giants quarterback. Fires it complete to Lionel Manuel, and Manuel steps out of bounds. He'll have a Giants first down with 54 seconds on the clock.
Hofstadler can put some heat on the ball. Did you see the velocity he had on it that time?
He said that the other day. You like the way he throws the ball also.
You know that new passing rule.
Now they're saying he was out of bounds, so they'll bring it back, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Those new passing rules, the James Loftons and the Roy Greens, I don't think they're going to be affected so much by it. I think it's the little receiver, the Dupers and the Claytons. Dwight Clark is not going to bother him too much at 6'4". That's fighting for that ball. Those little guys won't get the opportunity and take the liberties they have in the past.
Good move by Hostetler to get away from Jesse Baker.
And a better move getting out of bounds.
Certainly much wiser as he steps out of bounds at the 26, short of the first down by about 4. Robert Abraham made sure that Hostetler made the prudent move on the sidelines.
Well, it's been said, O.J., that the trend toward the receivers may be swinging back to the larger receivers because of these rule changes.
I would think so. How many times last year did we see Mark Duper, especially Mark Clayton, go up against a defender and come down with the ball, or would come down without the ball and be called for interference on the defender?
This year you're going to be able to play the ball. You think as sure as you can go and get it. You can't run through the defender, but you will be much freer in the moves that you can make. That was the intended receiver, Bobby Johnson, taking a tremendous lick from Steve Brown, the cornerback for the Houston Oilers. Watch Brown. This is why a receiver, well, frankly, they don't pay him quite enough for this. You're wide open, you're exposed, and you get the shot.
You know, this part of the game, the Oilers are simply laying back and playing a zone defense, and anytime they're that deep, these receivers have got to realize, and sometimes hear footsteps, I'll bet you, that they're going to get hit.
Flag is down as Prokop kicks the ball low, and there is a scramble for it at the 42-yard line. Willie Drury mishandled the ball at the 40, but again, keep in mind, the flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Giants to have the football, they at least are indicating they do.
You know, I believe in handling the football on these punts, but at this stage of the game, with as little time as left that's on the clock, I believe he should have I know he should have let that ball hit the ground and roll. If it was the middle of the first quarter, if they needed to get the ball
motion on the offense. The offense recovered the ball, so we're going back 5 yards and kick over.
Well, that's a good break, a very good break for Houston, because as I was saying, I'd like to see the kick returner or punt returner handle the ball, but not in this situation, not with only 32 seconds left on the clock.
Well, you know, this kid is a rookie, Willie Drury, and what's on his mind is making the team. He may not get too many opportunities out here today to show what he can do, so he wants the coaches to know that he's ready to go, and he's just trying to make something happen.
Do that again, you'll be a carpenter.
Yeah, that was a tough catch, a tough catch to make.
I agree. You don't jeopardize some points at the end of the game. That ball would have given the Giants the first down at the 40-yard line. Prokop back again. Willie Drury. He'll be a little more cautious, I think, this time. Low once again by Prokop, but it drives Drury back to the 25-yard line. And Drury works his way back to the 40-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10, the Oilers, with 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Giants still lead 7-6. On a touchdown pass from Jeff Rutledge of 18 yards to Joe Morris. And for those of you who may have joined us a little late, Phil Simms opened the game, and they took him out of the game with an injury to his little finger on his right hand. And we have been told that it was a laceration that required stitches, and he was taken to the local hospital for that to be taken care of.
I hope he goes downtown with a long one here.
First down and 10.
Only 20 seconds left in the half.
Oh, boy.
Only 20 seconds left in the half. If they want to score, he needs to get downtown. He can get interference at a long completion.
Red Cashin once again. Procedure call against the Oilers, and now we are beginning to see what we anticipated early in the game, and that is, well, they have not worked that much together, and you are going to get players out there that really maybe have not even practiced together in the 10 days that they have been working. You're going to get procedure calls, you're going to get offsides, you're going to get a lot of calls, and particularly as we start moving down the roster and getting the substitutions. 81 players here for the Giants, almost that many for the Houston Oilers. First and 15 following the procedure call against the Oilers. 18 seconds remaining in the half. Warren Moon, and wide open is Jamie Williams, and he is hit. Bobbles the football, and there is a scramble for it at the 39-yard line, and they are saying that the Oilers have it. Jamie Williams took quite a shot. That's when you hear the footsteps, and you're in the middle, and you know you're going to get pounded.
I tell you, it says a lot for Warren Moon. We will not see Warren in the second half, but he's having an excellent game here, and I thought it would take him a little longer to adjust to this smaller field, which is the NFL opposed to the Canadian football field, and he adjusted real well last year, and if they get a running game to go with him, this kid is going to be a super quarterback in this league. It appears as if either he didn't have control of it or he fumbled the ball.
I agree.
One or the other, but in any event, the Oilers are going to have the football, and they're going to have it at the Giants' 39-yard line with 7 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, they got cheated out of 2 seconds, by the way, that penalty. They ran off to 2, and they let them have it. Now, this last play, they did hit the seam, the inside seam, but the 3 receivers, the 2 wide receivers and the tight ends, were just simply splitting the seams, and the quarterback chose to go to the inside.
Joe, your assessment of Warren Moon. I don't think we'll see him in the second half unless something strange happens. What do you think?
I think he's off to a good start already. He's throwing nothing but strikes.
Pretty good first half.
12 out of 17 for 109 yards. I think any quarterback would like that.
I think he's a prototype of the new quarterback, the quarterback that you want to be able to run. You want him to be able to scramble in the backfield.
I don't
as
think
well as throw the ball.
You know me, OJ. I don't like to see these quarterbacks running around, and even Mr. Moon is not going to be running very often in the NFL.
Well, say that to Joe Montana.
First and 10, the Oilers at the 39-yard line of the Giants. Final seconds. First half, Tim Smith working against Elvis Patterson. Elvis Patterson right with him all the way. Of course, Patterson was getting help deep in the prevent defense of the Giants.
That was a great example of Moon's experience. He sensed that hit. He knew the man was on him, so he got rid of the ball. The timing wasn't right simply because Moon knew the guy was on him.
Not bad with a team like the Houston Oilers. Moon came in last year. The Oilers were 2-14 the previous year. They're going to try a field goal, and they're going to let Lee Johnson try it.
Why not?
He's had some big kickoffs. This is the 5th-round draft pick from BYU, where he also once kicked a 59-yard field goal for BYU.
Bingo.
So he could reach it all right. This one he didn't, however.
And at least they had the opportunity. Leonard Marshall, who put the pressure on Moon that time, had he got Moon, they wouldn't have even had the opportunity.
Well, that winds up the first half. The Giants on top. 18-yard touchdown pass. Jeff Rutledge to Joe Morrison. They lead the Oilers 7-6. Stay with it. Halftime activities coming up.
Tuesday. Who's the Boss moves to a new time at 8, 7 Central.
Gee, that's terrific.
You'll just flip over Tony Danza, Judith Light, and Katherine Hellman. Score with Who's the Boss now at its new time.
Love it!
All over America, your Mitsubishi Motors dealer is out to be #1 in car sales per dealership, with #1 deals on already low sticker prices. Cordia L hatchback, $600 less than Nissan 200SX hatchback deluxe. Tredia sedan, $1,700 below Honda Accord 4-door sedan. And Mitsubishi Mirage at only $5,389. Economy is back in style. It takes a #1 dealer to make a #1 deal. But hurry, deals like these won't last long.
You know, I've been a beer drinker for a bunch of years. Like you, I've seen a lot of beer commercials. There's one beer that people loved before it was even advertised. You see, Coors was kind of the beer at my folks' place. People thought it was different, special. That was true long before there were any jingles or promotions. It's the product people love, not the hoopla. You think about that. How many products can you say that about? Coors is the one.
Strike 2 for baseball, Sunday.
It's been Hall of Fame week here in Canton, Ohio. The festivities taking place throughout the entire week. 5 new inductees coming into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And an illustrious group it is. This was the scene earlier this morning following the parade. A tremendous crowd that packed around the area right in front of the Hall of Fame. Thoroughly distinct in architecture. Inside, there are now 128 professional football players that have been enshrined. Once again, there were 5 enshrined today. Here were the activities that took place. Paul Brown's Cleveland Browns added another Hall of Famer today, Frank Gatzke. He played 11 years with the Cleveland Browns, 1 year with Detroit. Not the big names such as Otto Graham, Abe Gibran, Dante Lavelli, Marion Motley, Lou Groza, all Hall of Famers for Cleveland, but he was so responsible for their many championships. He played in 11 title games. His teams won 8, and Frank Gatzke's place in the Hall of Fame was assured today.
And I love to play football, and if I had to do it over again and have one more choice in my life, I wish I could put my togs on and I would run to California to play in another football game. So with further ado, and from the bottom of my heart, I'll say, football, I thank you very much. And I hope I am worthy of this honor. I'll wear it with pride. Frank Gatzke, thank you.
My new colleague, Joe Namath, arrived on the New York scene in 1965, an instant celebrity. He had signed a $400,000 contract to play for the New York Jets. That was unheard of. Joe backed up that contract for 13 years, a gifted passer. He was the first pro football quarterback to throw for over 4,000 yards. And he gave the American Football League instant credibility when he predicted a victory over Baltimore in Super Bowl III. The Jets won 16-7, stunning the NFL. Credibility, yes, and the merger was to follow.
First of all, it starts at home. My family's here today. I don't want to look down at them right here because I'll start crying probably. Anyway, it starts at home. I want to thank my family for the love that they have given me over the years. Even when I was a little guy all the way to now, they've been on my side, close to me, giving me courage, helping me. At the University of Alabama, where I was lucky enough to go to school and find a new family, we won the championship because we worked hard, we tried for it, our goals were high. At the University of Alabama, I was mighty lucky to be working under a gentleman named Paul Bryant. Coach Bryant and Mrs. Bryant, wherever you are, we miss you. Well, the deals between the National Football League and the American Football League were basically the same when it got down to the wire, and actually could have ended up playing in New York, even in the National Football League. But a couple of people really swayed my decision, made me choose the New York Jets, and am I thankful to God for that. One of them is here today, Mr. David A. Werblin. My second father, I believe. He's made me part of his family. and I love them for it. And over the years, we've had a lot of ups and downs too, but we're still here, we're still hanging out and still doing a good job. Most importantly, I'd like to thank God. Now, the good Lord is with us all the time, whether you realize it or not, and it seems like we only find him in times of stress and trouble. I got closer to God when I had some injuries, but thank God again, I am close to him now. He was kind enough to old Joe to let me find my wife, Deborah. People ask me, said, Joe, why didn't you marry earlier? I never met Deborah earlier, that's why. I'd like to thank the football fans all over the country for being fans. Without the football fans, the players, you know, we wouldn't have people to play for, so it wouldn't be near as much fun. So thank you, football fans all over the country. Thank you, God. Thank you, friends that are here today. We'll see you again here in Canton, Ohio, another year. Thank you.
Depend on quality Napa parts to get you going and keep you going. Do it right. Always use Napa parts so your car will run Napa brand new.
Tales of heartburn from Gaviscon antacid. Once a man ate all of Italy.
Pasta with tomato sauce and garlic.
In one night.
And the garlic.
And discovered the only thing worse than daytime heartburn.
Heartburn.
Is nighttime heartburn. Fortunately, there was Gaviscon, specially formulated so it not only gives fast relief during the day, it even works at night when you're lying down. Gaviscon antacid, it even works lying down.
This summer, one show always rings twice. You wanted her back.
There she was, just walking down the street, singing, do what did it, dum did it do.
Now Dave and Matty are back.
Where on earth did you get those glasses?
Oh, these? X-ray specs. Pretty cool, huh? You must be wearing a lead dress. I can't see a thing.
See what you've been missing. America's Into Moonlighting, Tuesday at 9/8 Central.
You'll love it.
In 1960, at the age of 33 years old, Pete Rozelle was the surprise replacement for the late Bert Bell. In 25 years, he has become recognized as the #1 sports commissioner in professional sports. He has guided the NFL through player strikes, mergers, litigation coming from all sides, and the league, while troubled, seems stronger than ever.
Commissioner's job, of course, is very unique. You're hired by the owners, but you're called upon to make decisions that can affect them. You can't please everyone every time. If you're going to make a decision, why, this side will be happy and this side a little unhappy. So it's not the perfect type of job to generate lasting friends. You simply have to do what you think, in your judgment, is in the best interest of the game. But when I became involved in the NFL, I realized that it was a great reservoir of talent, ability, and a willingness to help. I saw it the first year in what has become a model for sports today. The late Dan Reeves of the LA Rams, the Mara families in New York, and George Halas in Chicago, they agreed that under the plan we were developing, they would share television equally. New York would make as much as Green Bay and vice versa. And of course that's played a great part in giving everyone at least the base to compete. The balance has to be scouting, management, coaching, and players. That's the way football should be. It should not be predicated just on money. I feel very fortunate to have always worked in what I love. I don't go out and stamp things on the assembly line. I was blessed. I was always able to work in sports, and particularly in the National Football League. I can only say that I feel very happy, proud, and so grateful to be here today.
O.J. Simpson came out of the University of Southern California with a Heisman Trophy in 1968. And he built upon that reputation, at times doing the almost impossible on the ground. He led the NFL in rushing 4 times, had the single-season rushing record set in 1973 of 2,003 yards, set on a snowy field against the New York Jets. When it wound up 11 years later, he had rushed for over 11,000 yards. He had a combined yardage net of over 14,000 yards. He was graceful, he was fast, he was strong. He was one of a kind, and today, he's in the Hall of Fame.
I want to say to the Hall of Fame members here, I mean, you don't know what this is, you know, to walk around here. You wonder, do you belong with this group of guys? I see Nitschke and Lenny Moore and Doug Atkins and Sam Huff and my hero, Gale Sayers over there, Dick Knight, Train Lane. And, you know, as a kid, I mean, I watched these guys and I read about them. And, you know, I figured, well, I must have done something good or something right to be here, and I just want you to know that I'll never let you guys down, man. I'll live up to the honor of being in this hall and being on your team. My wife, Nicole, who came into my life at what is probably the most difficult time for an athlete at the end of my career, and she turned those years into some of the best years I've had in my life, babes. My dad, Jimmy, I don't know, what do you say about your dad? You know, there are people, you know, they're raised in broken homes. Even though my dad didn't live under the same roof as us during most of my youth, he was always there, Dad. He was always there. You know, I always had a father. I love you for it. And I don't know what you say about the most important person in your life. I'm just glad she's here today, my mother. I mean, you just don't know what it is to be 8 years old and have all your friends think that you have the best mother in the neighborhood. I remember when I was, I guess it was when I was about 9 years old, my mother worked all her life, and she took the whole family on vacation to visit her sister in Las Vegas, and she had 2 weeks off, you know. She worked the graveyard shift at San Francisco General Hospital for 30-something years, and while we were down there, about 5 days into the vacation, I had to play in a Little League, my first Little League baseball game, and I was moping around, and she noticed how sad I was, and I don't know. I mean, she drove me 700 miles in the middle of this vacation. She took me 700 miles back to San Francisco so I wouldn't miss my first Little League game. I want to thank all the fans, especially those in Buffalo. I mean, they were out there. They were out there when I couldn't see the other goal line, when I couldn't see the sidelines, and there were 80,000 of them in the stands. And I just want all the fans in the NFL to know how much I appreciate it. No matter what stadium I played in, you cheered me, and you made me feel appreciated and welcome. And I want to tell you that I know now, already in my heart and in my memories, the thing that I will miss the most about this game is the sound of your applause and your cheers. Thank you very much.
Roger Staubach joined the Dallas Cowboys 4 years after graduating from the Naval Academy. He had served his mandatory 4 years. It was 2 years before Roger became a starter. And then he had 9 dramatic years as the leader of the Cowboys. He took them to 8 playoff appearances, 4 NFC titles, and victories in Super Bowls 6 and 12. An effective scrambler, Roger Staubach ran for over 2,000 yards in his career. But he was more noted for pulling out the games in the last few moments. Roger Staubach, class of 1985 Hall of Fame.
Some of the old-timers in the Hall of Fame to my left that Ray Nitschke and Sam Huff told me out at the Super Bowl this past year that I had a shot at this Hall of Fame, and when they told me that, I started to believe it, and we got to telling sea stories yesterday at our table with Deacon Jones and Sam and Ray Nitschke, and gee, there was a whole crew there. Frank Gifford was there, and Roosevelt Brown, and we were really reminiscent about the past. I was mainly listening I can't wait to come back to Canton to sit at those tables again and start telling a bunch of lies like they were telling yesterday. Because it just gets better and better the longer you're out. And well, it's an honor to be part of their fraternity, and I'm looking forward to the future and my involvement with my peers in the Hall of Fame.
Primetime excitement returns with ABC's Monday Night Football. Preseason action begins on August 19th as John Elway and the Broncos clash with Joe Montana and the Super Bowl champion 49ers. On the 26th, the NFL's all-time leading rusher, Walter Payton, and the Bears take on the Cowboys. And on September 9th, it's our regular season premiere as Joe Theismann and Washington battle Dallas. Once again, you can look forward to Mondays. ABC's Monday Night Football is back.
We're at halftime in Canton, Ohio on Hall of Fame Day. The Giants leading the Houston Oilers in the traditional opening season preseason game. There's Roger Staubach. You're looking at live shots. When Roger came out onto the field a moment ago to be introduced to the crowd, he fired a shot about 50 yards into the corner of the end zone. He can still throw it. So can this man, Joe Namath, whose family has gathered here. His wife, Deborah, who is expecting their first child in October, as O.J.'s wife, Nicole, is expecting a child in October. Very festive day, a very festive week. And we are proud of our two colleagues, O.J. Simpson and Joe Namath. Roger Staubach, of course, Frank Gasky, and Pete Rozelle. They are all now Hall of Famers. Right now, we are going to go to New York and get an update on the possibility of a baseball strike. Here's Howard Cosell.
Thank you, Frank. At this very moment, representatives of Major League Baseball's owners and players are meeting in an attempt to avert a strike on Tuesday. Just before he went into the meeting, Donald Fehr, the players' negotiator, outlined for me the key issues from the players' perspective, and for the first time indicated that there is an area in which he and the players might be willing to compromise.
You're concerned about protection of the players' system, aren't you? That system being the three basic freedoms. The freedom issues. 1, salary cap. 2, arbitration. And 3, free agency. Right?
In essence, yes.
What's the threat to that now?
The basic position that the owners have on the table is to restrict salary arbitration in a way which will reduce the actual levels of salaries for players moving into those service groups. That's the threat.
How?
The positions they've taken place absolute maximums below market value levels that players can secure would tend to retard freedom that individual players and clubs would have to reach contract agreements and to restrict the rights of players to compare themselves to free market levels.
Will you make concessions if they go with you on the freedom issues, on the pension fund plan?
We have a situation in which we have an obligation to bargain. We are prepared to do that, and we are prepared to do that in a meaningful fashion.
Thus, the clear implication that the $45 million pension fund difference between management and labor in this case is negotiable, depending on those freedom issues that I just discussed with Donald Fehr. So we shall see what happens and keep you abreast of what happens throughout the day, including World News Saturday night. Right now, let's go back to the Hall of Fame game and Frank Gifford immediately after this word from our local stations.
Sunday. John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd.
We're on a mission from God.
And it's guaranteed to blow your mind. At 8, 7 Central.
I hate California. You know what I'm saying? It's like, have a nice day, surf's up. I mean, their idea of culture is yogurt. Formal dinner party means you wear socks. Blondes everywhere, pink tofu, excuse me, soy burgers. I really hate it. I even hate what they drink.
What do you have, buddy?
One of those.
California Cooler. One more reason to hate California.
Setting off to find America. Gonna take my own sweet time to find America.
Kodacolor VR films, capturing America in all its glorious colors.
And everywhere I see people smiling back at me, so glad to be in America.
Kodak Film, because time goes by.
Destruction for Hire, late night tonight.
We're set to go in the second half of the Hall of Fame game. The Houston Oilers kicking off to the New York Giants. It'll be Lee Johnson, who has put a sock on over his foot. And deep for the Giants, their #1 draft pick out of Kentucky is George Adams. Good kick by Johnson. He'll carry Adams deep into the end zone, and he'll stay there. It'll be the Giants' ball at their own 20-yard line. At halftime, the score was the Giants 7, Houston 6. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Michelob Light, super premium taste in a less filling beer. Who says you can't have it all? By Goodyear, makers of the Eagle, the high-performance radial engineered for cars with the proper qualifications. By Head & Shoulders, its self-balancing formula puts dandruff protection on your scalp, conditioners on your hair. Dandruff care that's good for your hair. And by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, delicious flakes of toasted corn, lightly sweetened for a hearty crunch in milk. It's a taste adults have grown to love. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. They are great. 1st and 10, the Giants in. Hostetler stays in at quarterback. Fires a shot out there, intended for Tony Galbraith. We are going to see a lot of changes as we move into the second half. Tell you once again, Phil Simms left the game in the first quarter with a cut on his little finger of his right hand. Nothing serious, we understand. We'll take a look at the stats now in the first quarter. It was pretty much a Giants football game, although very even. The Oilers moving the ball pretty well on the ground with running from Butch Woolfolk, a former Giant. And at halftime, Houston had overtaken the lead, mostly on the arm of Warren Moon. But the Giants lead at 7-6. 2nd down and 10. The ball at the 20-yard line. Hostetler back once again, and down he goes. The pressure was on. It was big number 72. That's Sochi, or Foster, and Sochi in there on Jeff Hostetler, the second-year quarterback out of West Virginia. And Phil Simms went out of the game for the Giants. Bill Parcells, the head coach, brought in Jeff Rutledge, and he was the one that engineered the Giants' touchdown on 2 completions. One long shot to Bobby Johnson, then the touchdown pass to Joe Morris. But I think it was just Bill Parcells' game plan to bring in Hostetler after Phil Simms. And it was Rutledge in there for 1 or 2 series, and then he came right back with the second-year man, Hostetler from West Virginia. 3rd down and 17, and Tony Galbraith over the right side. I am in my booth all alone right now. My colleagues were introduced to Fawcett Stadium, a sellout crowd here of 24,000 as they have annually. O.J. and Joe Namath riding around to the cheers. Part of the festivities of Hall of Fame week here in Canton, Ohio. They will be rejoining me momentarily. Dave Jennings on to punt, or rather Joe Prokop stays on for the Giants to do the punting. Willie Drury drops back for the Houston Oilers. There's Prokop, a rookie from Cal Poly, good decathlete, trained for the decathlon, and then had a torn hamstring just before the trials a year ago. And oh, he hits a beauty that takes Drury all the way back to the 22-yard line. Drury trying to get outside and chased down at the 39-yard line by Clint Harris. 62-yard punt and an 18-yard return, and frankly, that was one of the finest kicks we've seen in the game tonight. Baseball scores, keeping track of that. Chicago, New York getting it on. That's final. New York over Chicago. Toronto over Texas. They're in the 8th inning. And another final, it was Detroit over Milwaukee. Flag is down. Illegal procedure on the punt. Giants, of course, worried about their kicking game. Ali Haji Sheikh, their place kicker, had really a bad year last year.
12 men on the field by the defense. Penalty is declined. 1st down and 10.
There's a young Joe Prokop that we were talking about, rookie free agent out of Cal Poly. I mentioned earlier in the game that he was a tryout free agent with the Rams a year ago, but he was coming off a couple of years of training to try to make the Olympic team as a decathlete. Tore a hamstring, missed the trials, did not make the Olympic team, and then he tried to go right into the Rams training camp. Wasn't there very long before they released him, and now he's making another try with the Giants. And he just lifted one 62 yards. At the 39-yard line, 1st down, the Houston Oilers, and Warren Moon stays on at quarterback, and he fires a pass complete. Goes into the tight end, Jamie Williams, and that has been the big connection for the Oilers thus far is first down for Houston near the 44-yard line. And rejoining me in my booth, what did you do with O.J., Joe? Joe Namath here, but no O.J. Simpson.
There he is. He just made it up. Well, that was exciting.
It was. When you looked up here, what did you think?
Hey, I tell you what, I couldn't believe I'm up here in the first place.
On first down, Moon is back. Complete to Drew Hill. He's having a big game. It was exciting, though, and the crowd really got into it, didn't they?
Right, and a lot of people down there, they're asking me, Joe, how you doing? How you liking it? And I tell them, I am excited. I'm enjoying it, and I'm really glad I'm here. A real good part of this ceremony at halftime, one I really enjoyed, was shaking hands with the players.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The way the players are all excited down there about you, and I'm sure some of those players will be joining us one day probably in this Hall of Fame. But I tell you what, it's a good feeling to know that after all of these years that they still remember you, Joe. I'm not that old.
Oh, now listen to you.
Second down and 4. Warren Moon trying to go deep. A man is open. Drew Hill, but he throws it out of bounds, and that could have been a quick 6.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. I always wanted to play with this guy. Now I'm on a team that is a pretty exclusive team at that.
Well, by golly, if a running game would help a passing attack, I think we would have had one heck of a football team, an offense.
Yeah, well, we got a great team that we've just joined in this Hall of Fame. We spent some time with all the guys yesterday, and boy, what a good group. Frank Gifford being one of those people.
Now, I've got to ask you a question. Did you see Roger Staubach when he came out to be introduced? He took that football and fired it about 50 yards into the end zone.
Anything for a cheer, you know?
Oilers have a third down and 4. The ball at the 39-yard line of the Giants. Oilers down 7-6 here in the third quarter. And Warren Moon has stayed on the quarterback. Did he come down in bounds? Yes. And they'll mark it near the 26-yard line. It'll be a first down for the Houston Oilers.
I have to admit, I'm a little surprised that Warren Moon is still in the game.
No, it is out of bounds. One official indicated that it would be all right, and that was overridden by another official.
Well, I would have thought they'd have kept Warren in the game because they're looking for a receiver to go with Tim Smith. Tim Smith is, you may have never heard of him. He's one of the more underrated receivers in this game. He's number 83. He caught 69 passes last year for Houston. So I thought maybe they were trying to get timing for one of the younger receivers, but Steve Bryant is certainly not a young receiver. He's been in this league for 4 years.
Punting unit on. That means Lee Johnson.
And I owe him a slight apology, Frank. I had a mistake, and I thought Lee Johnson was punting last year with the Oilers. This young man did a heck of a job punting at BYU.
Lionel Manuel tries to throw the Oilers on. Fair catch signal, and hustling down there with the Oilers. They had everyone around it, but they knocked it into the end zone, and that will bring about the touchback, and the Giants will have the ball out at the 20-yard line. 39-yard punt, but a 19-yard net. We'll be back with third quarter action in a moment.
This year, you'll apply your brakes over 50,000 times. And the more you stop, the more you'll need Midas. Because we back every brake repair we do with a nationwide guarantee on brake shoes and pads. If they should ever wear out, Midas will replace them free at over 1,400 locations for as long as you own your car. With such a good guarantee, why would you stop anyplace else?
Trust the Midas touch.
Introducing your ultimate weapon against athlete's foot. New footwork.
The pain and itch of athlete's foot can drive you crazy. But now there's footwork.
Footwork works two ways. It cures the pain and itch of athlete's foot, then prevents its return.
Footwork, your ultimate weapon against athlete's foot.
Get new footwork now. Cures the pain and itch of athlete's foot, prevents its return.
I got the same card as you, Coburn.
Huh? Oh, that's nice.
You don't have to be a big cheese to own a MasterCard.
I know.
The same card you bop around the south of France with, I use to buy wool.
Wool?
So you're not as hotsy-totsy as you think, Mr. Tinseltown.
May I buy you a drink?
Anytime, Jimbo.
One thing on this Hall of Fame day that everyone is thankful for, the temperature here in Canton, Ohio, in the first week of August, well, it is tolerable, to say the least. I've been here when you literally could hardly handle it. We had to stop one game one night because of a thunderstorm. Remember, our director, Chet Forty, on his slow motion, froze a lightning bolt And believe me, we were out of here. But it is a beautiful day for football today, and we're watching the Giants and the Houston Oilers play a pretty fair football game, considering they've only been in camp a little more than a week. 11:53 remaining in the third quarter. The Giants have the ball at their own 20, 1st and 10. This is Maurice Carthen. And a flag is down as Carthen hurdles out over the 25-yard line to the 27-yard line. Upended there by Jeff Donaldson, second-year man out of Colorado for the Houston Oilers. Flags becoming a little more frequent now. Red Caution and his crew working a little harder as more and more players are shuffled in and out of the lineup.
And it sure can be different when you first walk in there because you're accustomed to playing against your own guys. As we hear the call.
Offside, right side of the defensive line. Be 1st down and 5.
You grow accustomed to playing against your own guys, and they all have their little styles and habits, and you get used to that in 2 or 3 weeks of training camp, and then you play against someone else, and they do it totally different. So you find yourself grabbing and holding sometimes.
Oh, yeah. We're just looking at one of the new rules that will be in effect this year. After that penalty, the official, Red Caution, looked around, the teams were in position, and he started the clock again. We're trying, and the officials are trying, the league is trying to speed up the football games, bring them as close as they can to 2:50 or 3 hours. And it certainly will help us on Monday night. And there are several ways in which they plan to do that. And you saw one of them, and that is to start the clock after the yardage has been stepped off on the foul.
Maurice Carthen, now he just finished the USFL season. Do you think he can go through a whole NFL season?
I guess he can. I think they're going to have to spell him quite a bit. Yeah. If I was them, I wouldn't work him too hard in the preseason.
On 1st and 10, Hostetler back. And fires right over the middle, and it's complete. Goes there to the Giants. This is really a fine-looking youngster the Giants have brought into camp. This is Lee Rusin. He's out of Colorado, an 8th-round draft pick, but they have really been pleased with his performance. He was switched 2 or 3 times from fullback to tailback out of Colorado. He was recruited out there by Chuck Fairbanks, and when Fairbanks left, well, he got kind of lost in the shuffle. The Giants were able to get him as an 8th-round draft pick, and they expect super things from him. This is Maurice Carthen on 1st down. He gets about 3 yards out of it.
It's sort of a catch-22 with how you want to handle Carthen because, as you said, he just finished 17 games rather, in the USFL, and you don't want to work him too much, but you got to work him. You got to work him all out to get the timing right with him, to make sure that he meshes well with your offensive lineman.
Good pursuit that time by Brian Sachet, the nose tackle. He made the play.
3rd down. And about 3, the ball near the 38-yard line. Carson and Rusin, the setbacks. This is Lee Rusin. Pushing that ball out in front of him, looking for the 1st down. He's very close to it at the 41-yard line. Mark Setaway was there defensively first for the Houston Oilers. And Rusin, the rookie from Colorado, gets the 1st down. Once again, 2 first-round defensive draft picks of the Oilers are not in camp. They're holdouts. Ray Childress, a defensive end from Texas A&M, not in camp. Dick Johnson, a rookie from Wisconsin, he's not in camp. Giants, of course, are without Mark Haynes. He's a holdout. And Casey Merrill, the defensive end. On 1st down, Hostetler back, man open, picked off. A flag is down, however. Picked off by the linebacker, Avon Riley. But a flag was down, and it could have been pass interference. Intended for Bavaro. Now referee Red Caution sorting it out. Here's Bavaro. No, this is not Bavaro coming downfield.
That's Byron Williams getting knocked outside.
That could have been the penalty, though. Bavaro, the intended receiver, and you had a look at.
Illegal contact, number 25 on the defense. 1st down.
I believe it was against Byron Williams.
A good break for the Giants. Hostetler tried to get it downfield against Bostic, the penalty was. Hostetler tried to get it downfield in the middle of the field to the tight end, but the linebacker made a heck of a play. He got back deep enough to make the interception. That's the area that I was speaking of earlier where the tight end was open in the game, early in the first quarter.
And it'll produce a Giants first down at the 46-yard line. Play action fake by Hostetler. Hostetler has an open field in front of him. He'll get the first down and steps out of bounds at the 40-yard line of the Houston Oilers.
But that was good coverage downfield that time. Hostetler had time to throw the ball, but everyone was covered.
Hostetler came up a year ago with the Giants as a third-round draft pick. I mentioned earlier that he started his collegiate career at Penn State, transferred to West Virginia, and had over 4,000 yards passing and 24 touchdowns. And this is the coverage that made Hostetler come out of the pocket.
Yeah, well, he looks like he's open, but actually free safety crossed underneath him. He wasn't open at the time Hostetler looked for him.
Intended for Byron Williams.
Hey!
Williams comes down with it in the arms of Steve Brown. He doesn't get into the end zone, but a well-thrown timing pass from Hostetler to Byron Williams. We see a lot more of that, Joe, now than when you were playing.
We sure do. Here you see Byron Williams making a great catch. Now, Brown there he is. He's looking for the ball. And see, he didn't get called for a foul there that time either. That was close to a foul. This year in the NFL, if a defender does put his hand on him like this, he doesn't get called. Nice catch.
He did a great job of like going for a rebound, shielding the defender so he couldn't get to the ball, and used his body to get up there and catch the pass.
Carthen and Adams are the setbacks. First down, goal to go. Adams and the rookie from Kentucky short of the goal line.
Reject City.
Yeah. They like to see that. That number 28 that you saw come up there so well was Alan Lyday. He's a rookie defensive back, and he came up and made a very, very nice play. Actually, he played it pretty much the way Lawrence Taylor was playing it for the Giants, off the line of scrimmage and just react to the ball. He's just not as heavy as Lawrence.
Second down, goal to go. Lee Roussan comes back into the lineup, the rookie running back from Colorado. Carthen. And there's still no indication that Carthen got into the end zone.
Now maybe they should try a couple of quarterback sneaks. Maybe they'll have more success with it.
It does tighten up down here, doesn't it? Don't you like a little imagination, though? Maybe a little bootleg or something.
You know, as good as Hostetler moves, as good as he moves, I would look for a sprint-out kind of pass. Give the quarterback a chance to either throw the ball or run it into the end zone, a run-pass option.
Well, it's always easier to get the defensive team ready than the offensive team, and I'm sure both defensive coaches are happy with their goal line defenses today.
The two Mooses are in there, Adams and Carthen. This time, Adams, the rookie, gets in. His first professional football touchdown. The #1 draft pick from Kentucky, George Adams.
Instead of running a run-pass option, you might take it right over the top again for the touchdown.
Keep doing what you haven't been doing.
Well, you know those offensive linemen, once they get turned back a couple of times, they get mighty angry at themselves, at one another, and they want another chance to try and get it in the end zone from that close. They don't like the trick plays. They want to blow it straight at them.
Mark Harmon for the conversion for the Giants. Mark Harmon, a rookie from Stanford. And the Giants have moved out to a 14-6 lead. And this youngster, George Adams, may be on the way to a long and successful career with the Giants.
Who says you can't have it all? Who says you can't be buttoned up and down to earth underneath it all?
Who says you can't have super premium taste and a less filling beer?
Michelob Light, oh yes you can. Michelob Light, oh yes you can. Michelob Light, oh yes you can. Have it all.
You play hard to do what's best for your body. And the harder you play, the more you sweat. You need the best deodorant soap you can get.
Give your body the best with Safeguard.
I've bought other deodorant soaps, but Safeguard is the best. Only fresh-smelling Safeguard is a combination of thick, rich lather and unbeatable deodorant soap protection.
Give your body the best, give it Safeguard.
I'm 32 years old,
And I love Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Brave adults are coming forward to challenge the notion that Frosted Flakes is just a kid's cereal.
I know there's a tiger in the box. I like the taste, okay?
Because you love them as a kid doesn't mean you can't love them as an adult.
One day, our neighbor saw the package on the table.
And we don't even have children.
With that extra crunch and milk, that frosting just right, that taste is great as ever.
Well, they've always been my favorite. So dig in. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
The finest golfers in the world gather for the last major title of the year. Live coverage of the PGA Championship begins next Saturday on ABC Sports.
A little more than midway through the third quarter, the Giants leading the Oilers 14-6. Deep for the Oilers are Steve Tasker, the rookie from Northwestern, number 14, number 15, Willie Drury. He's a rookie 11th round draft pick from West Virginia, and set to kick off from Stanford University, number 9, Mark Harmon. Taking a look at Mark Harmon, and pretty rest assured that the place kicker for the Giants this year will be Ali Hajishik. He's kicked well in camp after a bad year last year. Up to the 27, it'll be first down, Houston. Sunday on This Week with David Brinkley, the countdown to a possible baseball strike. Commissioner Peter Uberoth discusses the latest developments and how a strike could affect Major League Baseball. It'll be This Week with David Brinkley, Sunday, so check your local listings for the time in your area.
All right, we have Oliver Luck in the game.
In his 4th year out of West Virginia. Interesting young man. Was a Rhodes Scholar candidate. Academic All-American. Had a great career. Last year he played in 4 games for the Oilers. 22 of 36, 1 interception and a couple of touchdowns. So he'll get a look-see today. Oliver Luck. And Luck goes down, fumbles the football. Lost the football momentarily. Still no indication. George Martin, who just came to camp for the Giants after holding out for a short while, is in there defensively. The Giants get it. Oliver Luck lost it, rolling out, and not a very good way to start, is it, Joe?
No, and I wish, well, heck, it was a good defensive play. It wasn't Oliver's fault here.
I think this might have slipped out of his hand. No, it was George Martin.
Yes,
who got a hand in there and knocked it loose.
No, George said he's been working out on his own, so he's ready to go.
There he is. He just came into camp a few days ago. And he has been a real mainstay of this Giants defense for 11 years now.
He's a fired-up type of guy, and he's really good for all the young players, and that's why they're happy to have him back in camp.
They use him mostly on a pass rush. That time he knocked the ball loose. The Giants got it back. We're watching Jeff Rutledge. And this time it's picked off.
You're not in the end zone. He could have gotten
Cephas coming down with it. Jeff Rutledge firing it, and there is a flag down, so Jeff Rutledge is going to be saved. The preliminary call that is against the Oilers.
And I promise you, Jeff is really happy about that. Interceptions, they feel so bad for a quarterback. Oh, my goodness. He'd rather do almost anything except intercept or throw an interception and fumble the ball.
Jeff Rutledge threw an 18-yard touchdown pass earlier in the game in relief of Phil Simms, the first series after Simms was injured. Hugh Campbell came from the USFL Express after 1 year to the Houston Oilers last year. Put together a 13-3 season after a tremendously successful career up at Edmonton when he won 5 Grey Cup championships in 6 years. On first down once again. Rutledge out. Wide open. Don Hasselbeck, a veteran from Colorado who was with the Raiders last. Well, actually went from the Raiders to Minnesota a year ago before joining the Giants this year. Let's take a look at it from the end zone, Joe. Big target, Hasselbeck. He's about 6'7".
Yeah, I remember when he was up there at New England. He's a smart man. He's certainly far from a rookie. He's a good player. He simply ran a crossing pattern that time and found the seam.
And Hasselbeck and Rutledge give the Giants a first down goal to go inside the 4-yard line. Adams and Carthen the setback. Play action by Rutledge.
I like it. All right, first down play action.
Navarro, the rookie 4th-round draft pick from Notre Dame that the Giants have been so pleased with in training camp.
Giants have 3 good quarterbacks. With this new rule change where they're going back to 45 players, some teams may not carry 3 quarterbacks.
You touched on it.
And it looks like they have a fine young tight end in Bavaro. As Frank said earlier, he's got a lot of muscles. He doesn't say much, and they call him Rambo.
Somebody messed with him about a week ago, and he took him on right on the spot. They kind of like that. Coaches like that. You know, they're sort of macho. They like it when people start punching each other out. Football players are notoriously poor fighters. Mark Harmon once again, the rookie from Stanford. Rutledge gets it down. Harmon gets it through. And the Giants have moved on top 21-6 with 5:46 remaining here in the third quarter on a touchdown shot to Mark Bavaro from Jeff Rutledge.
It's a hot one out there today as Peterman starts his engine. The field is wide open.
Gatorade is third stage.
Dombrowski picks up speed and breaks away.
Gatorade is third stage.
Here's Evans showing some hustle against the youngsters.
When you exercise, you lose potassium, fluids, minerals. Gatorade Thirst Quencher helps put them back fast.
That's why the pros drink it. It's thirst aid.
Gatorade is thirst aid for that deep down body.
And the crowd goes wild.
Staying healthy on this job means being careful around the machinery. When the noise and glare give me a headache, I'm just as careful about my pain reliever. It's Tylenol. You know what convinced me? When I sprained my ankle and went to the hospital, they gave me Tylenol. It handled the pain without upsetting my stomach like aspirin used to. Seems Tylenol is the pain reliever hospitals use most, more than aspirin or any other type of pain reliever. If hospitals trust Tylenol, so can I.
Trust Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
Picking up chicken is really a ball when you're picking up the chicken that started it all.
Heads up.
Pass around the tunnel, chicken little nuggets, let the fun begin. Dunking and dipping that light in the chicken, the number one nugget, lay it up and in. Fast breaking and pick up the chunk, catch your Coca-Cola then, slam dunk. It's a good time for the great day.
Careful when you nibble that you don't double dribble.
Up McDonald's.
Peter Jennings from Hiroshima, 40 years after the bomb, Monday on ABC's World News Tonight.
The rookie from Notre Dame has his first professional touchdown pass from Jeff Rutledge. They like him in the Giants camp. And there's Phil Sands, we told you earlier, a severe laceration of the little finger of the right hand. And everyone over there consoling Sims. And, well, they should, because he, of course, is really the key to the Giants' offensive hopes this year. He had a tremendous year last year. Willie Drury bobbles the ball and comes up with it. And squirms and twists out close to the 25-yard line before he goes down in the arms of Kenny Daniel. Great schedule, we feel, coming up here on Monday Night Football this season. We have a great opener. The Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys on September the 9th in Dallas. And, of course, we will move through the month of September. We have the Raiders at Kansas City, with Pittsburgh at Cleveland, Chicago at Minnesota, Rams at Seattle. We'll watch the Giants again against Dallas on a Sunday night later in the year. Good schedule coming your way. On first down, this is Mike Rozier. The flag is down, and Rozier is down. He was really hammered at about the 27-yard line. Getting just a bit sloppy, as one might suspect in this first preseason game with very little practice. And Mike Rozier, of course, really had an impact on the economics of pro football when he came to the USL from Nebraska. He went first to Pittsburgh. It wasn't all that great a year, a little over 700 yards in rushing. And then last year at Jacksonville, he played back to what everyone thought he could be, and that was a 1,300-yard season, second best in the USFL. And I'll tell you, he can motor.
Yeah, he was hurt that first year.
He averaged 7.9 as a Heisman Award winner in Nebraska. Yeah, he had a bad ankle that first year. First and 20 following the penalty. Here's Rozier. And Rozier thinking first down, and he got a bunch of it. He got 18 of it back out over the 30-yard line before he was upended by Larry Flowers.
Well, let's take a look at him. What Rozier has is what all great backs have. He has explosion. It doesn't take him long to get upfield. When he gets the ball, he runs north-south. As you can see, he gets as much as he can. And normally you'll see with the great backs, they're always falling forward.
Well, he did a number on Flowers, didn't he? Second down and 3. The ball just over the 30-yard line. This is Jim Matthews, a rookie from Washington State, a free agent trying to make the ball club. So many hopes and dreams of free agents this time of year around the National Football League with 80 players here on both teams.
I tell you, speaking about great runners, I can't wait to that first Monday night game, Dallas and the Washington Redskins. I think the George Rogers trade may prove to be the most important trade on this offseason. He is really going to do something for what is already a great Washington football team.
Dorsett still out of camp with his problems, being fined each day he's out of camp. Anthony Dickerson out of camp. Dan Marino out of camp. Hall hold out. Talk about that in a little bit. Maybe get your opinion on that, Joe. Rozier looks like he has the first down near the 35-yard line, or very close to it. And once again, Phil Simms, they look as though they have some kind of a traction splint on it.
You know, when you have an injury like that, it's immobilized for a while. Once he gets that cast off, he's going to have to exercise like heck to get the muscle tone back and to get the strength back in his hand.
There's a comment, Joe, on some of the renegotiation holdouts that we have around the league. Dickinson, you have Dan Marino. I mentioned Tony Dorsett.
I tell you, I can't figure it out. The boys are under contract now. A bunch of them deserve more money. Marino, for example. But when you have a contract, it's tough for me to understand how they can just leave.
So you've never had a holdout, huh?
No, Mr. Werber and I did a good job of getting together, and Mr. Hess was always fair to me, too. I was lucky to work for those guys.
O.J. mentions that because he was a holdout at one time.
Well, not really. You know, I didn't hold out for more money. I held out because the Buffalo Bills had traded away too many players, and they needed to trade me to turn it around. So my trade was really based on trying to go to another team so Buffalo would get more players. I never asked for more money in that trade.
But I
ended up with it.
That was your opinion that you should be traded. Second down and 9. Mike Rozier. Good tackle. Good open field tackle.
Yeah, but see,
Elvis Patterson.
That's what a great back could do. He got 5 yards, and he made up his mind right away. He saw where the hole was. He saw where the positive yards would be immediately. The minute he got the ball, he didn't care what the blocking scheme was. He ran upfield, and that's what a great runner will do.
Rozier picked up a quick 6 yards. It'll be third down and 3, and Phil Simms has asked us to... He's just telling his wife, I'm okay. And, boy, she's seen many times when he was not okay. Rozier gets the first down. Again, good flashing running.
It's funny. You get a good back in the backfield, and all of a sudden the blockers look like world beaters. All of a sudden everybody starts blocking and everything starts working.
Isn't that the truth?
Oh, the great ones can make it look easy.
Ball out over the 45-yard line. 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The Giants leading this first preseason game of the 85 NFL season 21-6. Jeff Rutledge has thrown a couple of touchdown passes. George Adams, the rookie from Kentucky, took it in from 1 yard out. Rozier again.
Good job, George!
And he's met the line of scrimmage. There'll be no game. Sir Lawrence of Arabia. That's what they call him. What a great athlete. Came to camp really with a different attitude this year. Admitted himself that he got a little complacent towards the middle of last season. And, of course, at the level of play that Lawrence sustains, I don't think anyone ever felt that about him. Double team, triple team. He says this can be a better year. On 2nd and 10. Oliver Luck is back. And he pulls it down and gets inside the 45-yard line, and he is very close to a Houston Oiler first down. Robbie Jones defensively there on the stop.
A fine play by Oliver Luck. I tell you, Oliver Luck and Jeff Hostetler are two very good reasons West Virginia University has done well over the last 6 years.
Joe's reaching deep. Reaching way down on that research file of yours.
Luck came to the Oilers as a second-round draft pick in '82. Started 6 games in '83. As I mentioned earlier, played in 4 games a year ago and was 22 of 36 with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. And he's on now in relief of Warren Moon. Hands off to Jim Matthews. And Matthews on the ground to the 40-yard line for a gain of 4. It'll bring up second down and 6. D. Hardison was there for the Giants, their fine defensive right end. That should be the final play of the third quarter. On Hall of Fame Day, when my 2 colleagues, O.J. Simpson and Joe Namath, brought the count along with Pete Rozelle, Frank Gatsky, and Roger Staubach to a 128. We'll be back.
You wanted her back. I'm Papa Bear, she's Sweet Cakes. Now, Dave and Manny are back.
Soon, we'll be handling it all. Robbery, grand larceny, felonious assault, felonious with no salt.
America's into Moonlighting, Tuesday at 9/8 Central.
You'll love it.
Atlantic mortgages make a difference with low rates, low fees, up to $500 rebates. Atlantic's new credit cards make a difference with lower rates, lower fees, and Visa and MasterCard. Atlantic home equity loans make a difference with low rates, low payments, up to $200 rebates. Lower cost credit at Atlantic Financial. We can make a difference. Here's another way.
Before we introduced the new Dayco Top Cog belt, we put it through rigorous testing to find out just how long it would last.
Broke yet? Ain't broke yet.
And we discovered that the Top Cog's revolutionary new design makes it so flexible, so strong,
Broke yet? Ain't broke yet.
that chances are it's the last fan belt you'll ever buy for your car. The incredible new Dayco Top Cog fan belt. Ain't broke yet.
Family Feud, weeknights at 7:30. You saw it here first. The jockocracy squared. As David Jones said, I'm going to speak to Mr. Arledge. We got to get some defensive talent up in that booth.
We're
he might have a point. You know that? We're enjoying it. I'm enjoying sharing my day with the two newest inductees in the Pro Football's Hall of Fame. There they are right behind me, O.J. Simpson and Joe Namath. We're looking forward to a really fun year, a good year. We have a great schedule. And Joe, I know, is going to bring an insight to it that we have not had because the man knows the game. We have done 3 run-throughs throughout getting prepared for today's game. And it has been a real enlightenment to me. And Art Whittington of the Oilers down the left side, taking the pass from Oliver Luck. Short of the first down, however, at the Giants' 37-yard line.
Boy, Oliver Luck did a super job because Andy Hedden was just bearing down on him from his blind side. Look at that spin. I don't even know if he knew he was there. Fortunately, Whittington had missed his block. Gone out, caught the ball, and got tagged.
Third down, a long 2 now for the Houston Oilers, trying to get respectable. They trail 21-6. We're early in the fourth quarter. Mike Rozier. Now, that's good running. That is really fine running. Cut back, shifty, got inside, gets the first down at the 34-yard line. I like to watch him run, O.J.
Yeah, you don't have to see him in the open to tell that he's a great runner. As a matter of fact, looking at him on that play reminded me of my first 3 years in the league. I made a lot of runs just like that. The guy has it all. He sees it. He's running 2 players ahead of himself. The guy in front of him, the first guy he comes up to, has no chance of tackling him. He's trying to consider what he's going to do to the next guy.
Powerfully built, 5'10", and 198 pounds. Mike Rozier on first down. Play action by Oliver Luck. Has a man open. Wide open is Steve Bryant, and Bryant comes down inside the 10-yard line. Well thrown ball. He had to throw it between 2 defenders, but Oliver Luck got it there.
All right, Steve runs a pattern, a square in here, and he just simply breaks underneath the secondary coverage, the free safety, and finds the hole. A beautifully thrown pass.
Well, I'll tell you, there were Giants everywhere, and Luck was able to get it in there. It'll be first down, goal to go. The ball inside the 10-yard line of the Giants. Rozier and Tim Harris, number 39 of the setback. Rozier at 33. Rozier tries the right side. Good running down close to the 5-yard line.
This is a terrific drive Houston has going. Both of these football teams are playing darn good football now, I believe. It's a good football game.
Well, right now we're looking at a lot of the guys who wouldn't be starting during the league season, but I think Houston still should be happy with Mike Rozier because he is really running the ball exactly the way they had hoped he would when they went and got him.
They laid out some bucks to get him, too. He is just like Carson. He's going right from one USFL season to an NFL season. Second down, goal to go. Luck. He wanted to go deep with that ball, but he had to settle for Tim Harris. He was looking deep to Steve Bryant. He was picked up and covered. dumped it off to Tim Harris, and Harris held short of the goal line at about the 3-yard line in the arms of Elvis Patterson.
I would really advise these Oiler players to get this ball in the end zone because there's nothing more physical in practice than goal line workouts. And they've been stopped on the goal line twice now. And if they're stopped on this drive, I guarantee you it's going to be a long week in the trenches.
I was going to say they need the work. They have not been effective inside the 5-yard line. 11:57 remaining in the game. The Giants over the Oilers, 21-6.
You know, when it comes to being a champion, size isn't everything. Who knows better than Doug Flutie? The main thing is you got to be tough, like the small-size Ford Ranger. It packs plenty of V6 power up here. No other small V6 pickup beats it for power. And down here, there's independent front suspension. Real tough. Okay, go along. And the Ranger's cab is high and wide. Hey, do that again, Doug. What do you want, another miracle?
A little confusion can be fun, but not when you're looking at long-distance phone companies. Because all companies aren't the same, you have to watch out for the unexpected. No operator service and no service from any small town. Different levels of transmission quality and no immediate credit for wrong numbers. Only one company comes with no surprises. AT&T. The more you hear, the better we sound.
AT&T, the right choice.
Ooh, Lipton tea you made new, decaffeinated just for me.
Now there's something new under the sun. Introducing Lipton Decaffeinated Instant Iced Tea.
Ooh, Lipton tea you made new, decaffeinated just for me.
Yes, Lipton also has a decaffeinated instant tea any way you like it, with sugar, with NutraSweet, or unsweetened. Delicious.
Ooh, Lipton tea you made new, decaffeinated just for us.
The Oilers have the football. 3rd down, goal to go. The ball at the Giants' 3-yard line with 11:57 remaining in the football game, the annual Hall of Fame game from Canton, Ohio. Oilers have Oliver Luck at quarterback. Mike Rozier stays in at one setback, number 33. Jim Matthews, number 36, the other setback. And the Oilers have not been outstanding in short yardage offense today. Rozier, he's upended at the 1-yard line. And you know what this is going to mean to the Oilers. Sunday, next week, they're going to spend the entire afternoon working on short yardage offense.
I remember one game we were on the goal line 3 times and didn't get in, and Lou Saban, every day of the week till the next game, we had to do goal line workout. And as I said, it's the most physical type of practice you can have. Their defense, they know you're not going to throw the ball. All the defensive players are just dug in there, and I mean, it's horrible.
Well, the Oilers are heading for it because they have, at one point, had a 1st down and goal to go in the 1st half from the 1-yard line, and the Giants held them 4 consecutive downs. They have another 4th down and goal to go. They will not get in. They will not get in. It was Kenny Hill, acquired from the Raiders a year ago, a former running back at Yale who came around all the way around, hit Rozier, made the stop, and that is twice now. The Oilers in this game have had a 1st and goal to go and have failed to get in.
Let's take a look at it. Well, you can't blame Rozier on that. Anytime you get that much penetration, someone missed an assignment or it was just a badly designed play.
Well, a great back would have made it.
They needed Sam Bam Cunningham on that one.
1st down and 10, the Giants. They've been here before. On the last occasion, the Oilers couldn't get it in the 1st half.
Kenny Hill.
Jeff Rutledge stays on. The quarterback for the Giants. Arson and Adams with a setback. Oh, Cephas bobbled the ball. It's free, and the Oilers got a touchdown. And that was Frank Cephas, who had replaced Adams. Bobbled the ball. I don't know whether he ever had it or not. It was academic, however, as the Oilers, who couldn't get it on their own, get it off the Giants' offense.
Well, that does that Oilers defense a world of good. You know, the Giants defense held the Oilers twice down here by the goal line, and for the Oilers defense to come back and score this touchdown this way, he just had the ball knocked loose, score this touchdown. That gives the whole team a lift.
That was Jerome Foster, number 78, whose shoulder banged the ball out of Frank Cephas' arm. Joe Cooper is on. That was Frank Cephas with the fumble. Here's Cooper for the conversion. Well, the Oilers shorten it up to 21-13 with 11:18 remaining in the game from Canton, Ohio. Right now we are going to go to New York and Howard Cosell.
Again, thank you, Frank. This quick update, the meeting between players and owners relative to the baseball strike situation concluded a few moments ago. The parties faced the press. Lee McPhail and Donald Fear, they're the principals, the negotiators, both said there had been no constructive movement on the major issues. Nothing accomplished of major note. Again, we will continue to update you throughout the day. And shortly, I'll be having Donald Fear in here, I expect, to give his side of it, and Mr. Lee McPhail, too. Peter, you brought the question mark at this point. Back to the game and the gift.
Thank you, Howard. I don't think I have to tell anyone the countdown to the strike is August the 6th. That'll be Tuesday, and we draw ever nearer to a possible baseball strike. Deep is George Adams, the rookie first-round draft pick from Kentucky. Lee Johnson set to kick off for the Houston Oilers. Fifth-round draft pick. Deep into the end zone, and Adams very wisely will stay there. And it will be a touchback. Next Saturday and Sunday, ABC Sports will present live exclusive coverage of the 67th PGA Golf Championship. It's going to be from Cherry Hills Country Club in Denver, Colorado. Remember Arnold Palmer's U.S. Open victory there? Two-time PGA champion Lee Trevino will defend his title along with the tour's leading money winner, Curtis Strange, four-time PGA champion Jack Nicklaus, plus Tom Watson, Masters champion Bernard Langer, and many more. ABC Sports will bring you all the action live at 3:30 Eastern next Saturday and Sunday, and I know, Joe, that's where you would like to be, not announcing but playing.
I'll get there just as quickly as I can.
Probably about as quickly as I will. On first down, Rutledge back again. Fires to McConkey, and McConkey comes down with it. It's a great story. Remember, O.J., 2 years ago, McConkey tried out with the Giants, and we were talking about him being in the Navy, a mandatory tour of duty of 4 years. He was on leave playing. The Navy called him up and said, come on back. Yeah. And Phil had to go back and finish the year out in 1983, missed the season, and he came back, of course, last year and made the team.
I tell you what interests me about him, he had chronic seasickness. You know, in the Navy, he used to take a helicopter up and fly around the aircraft carrier.
But Lee Rusin, the 8th-round draft pick from Colorado, who has shown awfully well in the Giants training camp. He's up close to midfield.
Lee Rusin has an interesting story. Coach Parcells really likes him. His father was a bodyguard for Malcolm X the day that he had his unfortunate incident.
He was in Harlem when Malcolm X was shot, and he recalls being thrown to the floor and covered up while the shooting took place. A frightening beginning for a youngster. Rutledge, incidentally, is 6 for 6, 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not bad numbers. Rooston gets the first down. He's up over the midfield marker to the 49-yard line.
Lee did the only thing he could do on that, Frank. He stretched it out. You can see by the way the play was developed in practice. They say stretch it out, and he did. The only thing he can do is the hole just wasn't there.
He almost wound up on the freeway. John Grimsley made that stop, number 59 for Houston. What a thrill it must be for this lad. He played his high school football at Canton McKinley. Played right here on this field. My spotter, Steve Bazika, used to do the play-by-play on it. Second down and 8. Whoa, Rutledge is in a lot of trouble.
They got him with the blitz that time.
Bob Lyle came with the blitz. Second-year man out of TCU, and they nailed Rutledge all the way back to the 43-yard line.
I've been told, and I know, most of the time the blitzes are missed by the running backs, O.J., but this time I'm afraid that the offensive tackle, the right tackle of the Oilers, just simply got beaten. Bruce Matthews.
You believe a wave at Fawcett Stadium in Canton, Ohio? Has to be pretty much a neutral crowd. Well, a semi-wave. It's been a great week here in Canton, as it always is. The people so supporting of the Hall of Fame week. Third down 16 for Rutledge, who will work from the shotgun. Good pass by Jeff Rutledge. Tried to get it to Hasselbeck. He had it there. Hasselbeck hit hard, could not hold on.
That was good defense that time. You were right. He threw a strike. Had that defender not made such a good play. Had he not made such a good play, it would have been a completed pass. Well, that's one of the hazards of quarterbacking, getting hit after you throw the ball. By the way, that was Gordon King who got whipped the last play, the right tackle. I gave you a Houston player's name.
Well, that will happen, Joe. I bet you it will be not the last time that happens for any of us. There's Willie Drury, the rookie from West Virginia.
I've liked him thus far. He's been threatening to break a punt every time he's gotten his hands on the ball.
He has. This is Prokop. And Prokop bangs another beauty. And into the end zone for the touchback. Prokop almost had a tremendous effort. If that ball had been short of a touchback, that would have been an absolutely fantastic kick. We'll be right back.
Every Ferrari 308 leaving Italy for America leaves on Goodyear radial tires, and only Goodyear radial tires. Why? Because Mr. Ferrari wants it that way.
Who says you can't have it all? Who says you can't be somebody and still be you? Who says you can't taste life best and not look like you do? Michelob Light, oh yes you can. Michelob Light, oh yes you can.
Michelob Light. Super premium taste in a less filling beer.
Michelob Light, oh yes you can. Have it all. No matter how things change or how we live today, the best things in life are done the original way. Enjoy something original. Secret herbs and spices taste naturally better somehow.
Kentucky Fried Chicken original recipe. We've been doing chicken right for 40 years. We're not going to change it now.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. Enjoy something original now.
The Oilers have the football once again as the wave continues here in Canton, Ohio. This might be the first wave they've ever had here because they have just been continuous with it.
Well, they're certainly enjoying themselves, and so am I. It's a good football game.
Not bad for first preseason game of the year. So much better than many of the games that we have witnessed here. The weather probably adding to this because it has been beautiful here for football. Ordinarily hot and muggy. On first down, or rather, that is Oliver Luck staying on, trying to get it to McCloskey. McCloskey comes down at the 30-yard line. And it will be a beauty. Redskins in Dallas. I think the highest rated game we ever had on Monday Night Football back in, what was it, 78? The Redskins and Dallas. They just flat don't like each other. And that's not a myth. Nobody makes that up. They really don't.
And as of last night anyway, Danny White is the starting quarterback for the Cowboys. Of course, Theismann will be back.
First down, Oilers at their own 30-yard line. Mike Rozier. And Rozier short of the first down, close to the 38-yard line. Good hard running, however. Offended by the rookie from UCLA, Herb Welch.
Yes, and hopefully another 33 will be out there with Tony Dorsett.
Hey, some of these centers in professional football certainly do, well, they fool me a heck of a lot. He was out, Mike Kelly that time was leading Rozier on that quick swing pass. That was a designed play. They got the center out and Mike out in front of Rozier to block for him. What am I? The right guard, rather.
Second down, a little more than a yard to go, and Rozier will pick it up. Oliver Luck now is 5 of 5 for 47 yards.
I'm a little surprised they're working Mike so hard here in the second half. I guess they want to see what he can do, but he's already pretty much proven that he's in mid-season form. Maybe it's just a way of getting him accustomed to the offensive calls.
You know, I think these teams should have to report to us, too, when they change positions. We have a center, number 61, and a right guard in the 50s. That's not fair.
A lot of change-ups with 80 men on the rosters of these two teams. Oliver Luck in trouble. Finally turns it loose. And they say no, incomplete. Well, it'll be second down and 10. Lots of strange folks coming into the football game in some strange positions. Waddell Smith, number 17, checks in. Presumably a wide receiver wearing a quarterback number. It'll be second down and 10. Oliver Luck, fourth-year man from West Virginia, quarterbacking from the Oilers, and we're going to watch this one from the end zone with you. The Oilers coming directly toward us. You'll get a feel of the Giants' defense. Luck throwing over the middle, and all hands were up in the air. The ball overthrown, however. Mike McCluskey, the intended receiver.
I don't know if Mike didn't think he can get up high enough to get it, but he wasn't going to find out, was he?
You know, earlier in the game, I mentioned a double-double as a zone defense or a man-zone combination defense that's played by the Giants and most football teams. Now, on the last play, both safeties went and backed up their cornerbacks. They split the field, in other words. The two safeties, the strong safety and the weak safety, each have a half of the football field responsibility, and the cornerback plays short.
I think we're seeing it once again. Now they drop out of it. Go back to the regulation 3-4, and they bring one linebacker. Oliver Luck in a lot of trouble. And he'll be sacked at the 37-yard line. Andy Hedden came on the blitz. He was in on the attack, as was Dave Bond, a first-year man out of Virginia. Fourth down now for the Oilers. Lee Johnson, a fifth-round draft pick out of BYU. They called him Thunderfoot out of BYU. He's on to punt. He's left-footed, barefooted. Also was a place kicker for BYU, as I mentioned earlier, and at one point in his career, kicked a 59-yard field goal. He was also 13 of 17 kicking field goals a year ago. Lionel Manuel is deep for the Giants on the return. Wow, did he hit this one. Manuel at the 5-yard line. And Manuel, because the kick was low, was able to bring it back to the 20-yard line. Hey, it sometimes does not pay all that much to kick it that far if you don't get the height on it. The Giants will have it at their 20.
Magnificent, tender rack of lamb. It's one of the reasons Crickett's Restaurant in Chicago is world famous. Tonight, we're secretly replacing the fine coffee they usually serve with dark, sparkling Folgers crystals. Will it be rich enough for our special guests?
It has a nice rich coffee flavor.
The coffee is excellent, really.
Folgers Instant. Oh, you gotta be kidding. This can't be instant coffee. 10 being the highest, I rate it as 10.
Folgers Crystals. Coffee rich enough to be served in America's finest restaurants.
Old Spice deodorant is over 70% ethyl alcohol. As the alcohol evaporates, so does some of your protection. Speed Stick deodorant has no alcohol. The Wide Stick. Man-sized protection that's more effective than Old Spice even after 24 hours. All-day protection that won't evaporate. Speed Stick, the Wide Stick.
Fine Mendon. Shaving's rough on sensitive skin, but after aftershave skin conditioner, soothe.
Sensible care for sensitive skin. AFTA.
Fine Mendon.
Ford Ranger's the one to take on the road again, or four-wheeling off-road. It's the small pickup that's built Ford Tough. There's a fuel-injected four-cylinder engine, or V6 power, unbeaten by any small V6 pickup. The Tough Ford Ranger. That's the way to get on the road again. The best-built American trucks are built Ford Tough.
Olympic gold medalist Rick Carey and many more at the U.S. Long Course Swimming Championship. Plus, anything goes in Italy's no-holds-barred horse race on ABC's Wide World of Sports at a special time next Saturday.
6 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the game. The New York Giants have the ball at the 20-yard line. Up they come. They have a 21-13 lead in a fairly well-played football game this early in the season, the first 3 games of the 1985 season. George Adams, the rookie first-round pick from Kentucky, with a couple of yards. It'll be second down and 8. I want to remind you, coming up later over most of these ABC stations, ABC's World News Saturday with Kathleen Sullivan with the latest information on the traffic. Today at the dinner hour. Second down, long 8. Don Goodman in there now with George Adams. Goodman, a first-year man out of Cincinnati. This is Adams, and Adams showing very well in his first outing. He will pick up a first down at the 30-yard line.
Well, as I mentioned about Mike Rozier earlier, Adams seems to have that explosion. When he sees the hole, he doesn't waste any time, and he's 8-9 yards upfield before the defense can react.
He did it all at Kentucky. I mentioned earlier in the telecast he was a leading receiver, leading rusher for 3 years out there.
Good size, 225 with that explosion.
Record attendance announced here at Foster Stadium on Hall of Fame Day. Just under 24,000, 3,940. Giants just working it on the ground. That was Don Goodman, the first-year man out of Cincinnati, number 35 for the Giants. Unlimited rosters at this point in time in the NFL. Of course, the cut-downs will begin very shortly. Any surprises for you, Joe, as you look down on your first game as a broadcaster?
Well, not really as far as the football game itself is concerned. I've had some surprises up here in the booth. You always will. One thing earlier, when Hofstadler came into the game right after Rutledge led the Giants to a touchdown, I was wondering myself why they pulled Rutledge out so quickly. But, Frank, you mentioned, and people at home would probably want to hear this. You mentioned that Hofstadler probably had been working with the personnel that they wanted to use at that particular time of the game, and they already had plans for using Rutledge with this personnel at this particular time of the game.
I think they just kind of panicked a little bit when Sims was hurt, and they said, Rutledge, get in there.
Yeah, that's probably it.
And he answered with a touchdown drive. Third down and a yard. Adams. That's good running over the top. Yeah, Sam Bang Cunningham.
Yeah, or Walter Payton. Walter is pretty adept at going over the pile.
He does soar, doesn't he?
Great. He's going to be a great running back.
He looks awfully good.
Tell you what I'm surprised about is this Houston fine young offensive line. They have a fine running game, and if they can get their 2 #1 draft choices, Ray Childress and Richard Johnson, 2 defensive players into camp, they can be a fine football team.
They played everyone very competitively in the last 6 games of their season. There's Don Goodman over the right side for a pickup of about 3. They were 13-3, and they won 3 of their last 6 games.
You know, you mentioned that offensive line of the Houston Oilers. Mr. Klosterman sitting up here reminds me of one of my former teammates who just recently retired, and that was Doug France, an old buddy of mine. Doug, I sure hope you enjoy your retirement. Hope to see you sometime.
You guys are really in a good mood, aren't you? Just kind to everyone today. Give you one statue and listen to you. You're just complimenting everyone all over the area.
I'm just glad they remembered Joe.
Second down and 6. George Adams again. Spins to the outside, gets to the 49-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 2, using the blocker very well. Robert Abraham made the stop defensively for the Houston Oilers, and we get the 2-minute warning here in Canton, Ohio. Bill Parcells, the Giants coach, now in his 3rd year. He had 11 other playoff seasons.
There's only one Super Bowl of cereal, and there's only one taste that makes it the super taste of Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Just think of crispy golden flakes.
Delicious, crunchy flakes of corn.
So pure and simple, just can't wait.
Low in sugar, loaded with vitamins and iron.
So good for you, don't hesitate.
For a Super Bowl of our most nutritious corn flakes ever.
What a Super Bowl. Have yourself a Super Bowl. Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Super taste, super good. Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
I don't know. What are you going to do?
I don't know.
I'd go to college.
Me too.
If I had the money.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
I don't know. What are you going to do?
You don't want those fries.
What are you going to do, Jack? Eat your way to college?
Really? I'm going to college on the new GI Bill. You serve full-time in the armed forces or part-time in the reserves, and you earn a lot of money for tuition.
The new GI Bill.
Isn't that pickle?
Now for young men and women in the armed forces. It's a great place to start. See your local recruiter.
Being an all-round cowboy isn't always a case of throwing a perfect loop.
sometimes it's a sack of potatoes. And when you're ready for a second opinion, whoosh, head for the beer brewed natural as a mountain stream for a taste as smooth as its name. Whoosh.
Well, that was really good. Want some more? Sure.
Head for Bush beer.
Head for the mountain.
10 minutes remaining in the game. 3rd down and 2 for the Giants to lead the Houston Oilers here in the annual Hall of Fame game, 21-13. Jeff Rutledge, quarterback for the Giants. Once again, Phil Simms started the game. They took him out. He had a severe laceration of his right middle finger, but he appears to be all right. He's told us he's all right. As we watch Don Goodman, the first-year man from Cincinnati, held short of a first down at the 49-yard line of the Giants. Jeff Rutledge played a pretty good football game. Thrown a couple of touchdown passes. Had a couple of big strikes. Here's Hugh Campbell, who was Warren Moon's coach up at Edmonton for 5 years. Went to the USFL 2 years ago for 1 year. Then last year went down to Houston and shows a lot of promise. He's been successful at whatever part of this game he's been involved in. As a receiver in Washington State, he was drafted 4th by the San Francisco 49ers. And one has to wonder why Hugh Campbell is letting the time run off the clock.
Well, he may be just realistically looking at a losing situation here. They need 8 points to win the football game, and he might be just trying to get it over with now.
And, of course, he only has 2 timeouts remaining, and he would like to have them with his offensive team in possession. 1:14 remaining. No Prokop. One for the Giants to do the punting. Willie Drury, and O.J. has already commented on Drury, the 11th round draft pick from West Virginia. He turned in a pretty good day on return. Little guy, 5'7", 158 pounds, but he can really squirt.
52-yard average here.
Off the side of Prokop's foot. Here comes Drury. And Drury to the 35-yard line.
You don't have to see much. This kid here is going to make a name for himself running punchback this year.
45-man roster, okay? Can you keep 8 pounds?
Maybe not, but the way the game is being played today, field position is everything, and a kid that can give you that field position, and he appears to have the ability to do that, you have to look long and hard at him.
Well, I picked up an indication from referee Red Cashin. We have an official timeout. With 1:03 remaining in the game.
Do you think I kind of put the hex on Prokop that time? I just said he had a 52-yard average and he got off his worst punt.
Well, I'll tell you, he's reaching, trying to take the job away from Dave Jennings. Now they have probably added some sort of coolant, perhaps some ice, to keep the swelling down on the right hand of Phil Simms. Again, he suffered a laceration in the first quarter, required stitches. He was taken to the hospital for that, but he wanted and requested an opportunity to tell his wife that he was all right, and we think that he is. He was 2 for 5 for 30 yards before he left the game. 4,000-yard passer a year ago. The Giants certainly need him, and they most certainly have not lost him. He may get a break for a while. But I'll remind you, next Saturday, at a very special time on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Olympic gold medalist Rick Carey, Mary T. Mager, and more compete at the U.S. Swimming Championships. Plus a look at a kind of a strange, daring event from Siena, Italy, the no-holds-barred horse race. All on ABC's Wide World of Sports at that special time, 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central, and 5 o'clock Pacific, next Saturday, here on ABC.
A lot of folks probably wonder how an injury like that occurs to a quarterback. It's very easy, as a matter of fact. I don't know if this happens to Phil maybe getting into some trouble, but when a quarterback throws the football, sometimes he follows through, or he always follows through, but he can hit the defensive lineman's helmet or face mask and get it hung up on the face mask. And I would speculate, and that's what this is, I'd speculate that he hit one of the Houston Oilers in the headgear.
Exactly what happened in '83 to his thumb when he had replaced Scott Bruner for the first time for any length of play, and he connected with a headgear and shattered his right thumb, was lost for the entire remainder of the season of '83. On first down, Luck has it deflected. The pressure was being put on Hunt by Byron Hunt. I mentioned earlier that the Giants have probably the best overall group of linebackers in pro football. I don't mean the starters. Banks, Reason, Carson, and Taylor. They might be the best 4 starters. But they have Andy Hedden, who has started there. And they have Joe McLaughlin, who has started there. They have Byron Hunt. They have 7 linebackers who really could be playing anywhere in the National Football League, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if 1 or 2 of them might be moved. Second down and 10. Oliver Luck completes to Steve Bryant. Oiler first down, 54 seconds remaining. While we still have time, my congratulations one more time to Joe Namath, O.J. Simpson, Roger Staubach, Frank Gatsky, and Pete Rozelle, all of them entering Pro Football's Hall of Fame just prior to today's game. And a very moving ceremony that you saw at halftime. Luck trying to find the receiver, and he gets it to Rozier, and look at that move by Rozier. The man can play football.
Boy, they got something to cheer for again in Houston. Haven't seen moves like that since Earl was in his heyday down there. Campbell.
He's a strong runner. Boy, he ran right over Clint Harris. At least knocked him back in his fanny.
Timeout called by Houston. They are down to 1. Mike Rozier out of Nebraska. He was just a checkoff man. Oliver Luck in a lot of trouble looking downfield. Wanted a big one. Settled for this one. And sometimes if you got a good runner, dink it out there and let him add it on.
That's beautiful. So you can't handle it. Your mama to this guy. You know, no respect. That's what the great backs want. A little room. Let me do my thing. And he can do it.
You're right about that, Joe. He's going to provide a little bit of excitement now. If they can get their leading rusher from a year ago, Larry Moriarty, back. He is a holdout. Another Howard Schlechter. Every time I talk about a holdout, I'm talking about Howard Schlechter. You know, the NFL has a solution, but they ought to give him a franchise and let him play with it.
Yeah, they'd like to give him a franchise, probably in Arabia.
Oh, would they?
Yeah, I hate to see Dickerson and Marino, 2 guys that you know the team is going to work it out with them. You just hate to see them miss all, especially Dickerson, a running back. I hate to see him miss all that camp time.
39 seconds, the Oilers down 21-13. They have 1 timeout remaining. Maybe they have a first down at the 22-yard line.
You think Ken Norton might become a Howard Schlechter?
We know Schlester's not going to become a Ken Norton.
He's representing Anthony Dickerson, right?
Yes.
Oliver Luck has another one batted away. Pressure once again. Oliver Luck, who, well, he's not all that tall. He's 6'2". I said Anthony Dickerson. I'm, of course, referring to Eric Dickerson, who provided a few thrills for us last year, and we watched O.J. suffer as he shattered a few of your records.
Yep, but it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. We'll be seeing Anthony Dickerson on opening day.
September the 9th, you got me out of it. Good, thank you.
You know, here's a situation where you have to throw the football almost every time. Why don't they use a shotgun? Why doesn't every team in professional football use a shotgun these days?
Did you ever play the shotgun?
Second down and 10. Luck has a man wide open.
Okay.
Steve Bryant comes down in the end zone. Touchdown, Houston. He had 2 receivers open. He had a plethora of opportunities also open deep downfield. Was number 88 for the Houston Oilers, but let's watch Steve Bryant.
The key to this play is he defeated the defender at the line of scrimmage, Joe.
It sure was, and I'll tell you what set it up, and we all know it was Rozier's big play. At the time, the Giants wouldn't let him throw deep. He dumped it off to Rozier, and Rozier's successful play set up this touchdown.
Lorian Kemp, I mentioned earlier, was injured a year ago and was replaced by Joe Cooper. Is back trying to get his job back. Kemp hurt his back a year ago, and Cooper came on and had a pretty good year. Kemp gets it through the upright. And now the Oilers have gone to within 1, and you think we might see an onside kick? Little or no question.
I think there's a real good chance of it.
Even maybe they haven't worked on it. Oliver Luck.
Good pass blocking in there by the offensive line. They're to be commended, and this is a strike. As you said, O.J., Bryant beat him at the line of scrimmage, got behind him, stayed there, and the man just led to a strike.
If you're going to bump the guy at the line of scrimmage, you better well bump him.
No, I wonder if they have had an opportunity in just a few days of training camp to work on an onside kick.
I doubt it.
The situation would call for it. The Giants are bringing out their sure-handed types. They'll have them up near the ball. And the Houston Oilers remain in the huddle over here. Maybe they're drawing it up for them.
I have to bet that they've worked on it. I mean, you have a special teams coach, and I'm sure he has these guys prepared for an onside kick. In fact, the Giants are anticipating it. As you see, they're lining up looking for it.
You can pull back or get a wide shot from the end zone. You can see what teams will do when they anticipate the onside kick. Most of those numbers down there you see are 20s and 30s and 80s. In other words, receiver types who handle the football. And they drop one man deep. Florian Kemp is in there. And he, of course, is not the long kicker that Lee Johnson has been able to produce for the Oilers. So there's really no question they're going to drop in an onside kick with 29 seconds remaining and trying to get the ball back, and they're obviously going to kick it over to the left. Well, who knows? It looks like a fire drill out there. This one's not going to go far enough, though. That one will be out of bounds, and they'll back up 5 yards and try it again.
It's out of bounds. It'll be a 5-yard penalty against the kicker.
If you ever tried to kick a onside kick, Frank, it's a difficult thing to do. Not only do you want it to go 10 yards, you want it to bounce money. You got to try to kick the top of the ball.
Well, I think I could have done that well.
I tried it once. I missed the ball completely.
These guys get paid pretty good to kick. The experts, they do a good job of it. That one made 10 yards, I think, but it got out of bounds there. Couldn't get to it.
And I remind you to stay with us after the game. Howard Cosell is in New York with Donald Fear, the negotiator for the Players Union. And we'll be going there immediately after the game and get an update on the potential or the possibility of a baseball strike on Tuesday. They were negotiating throughout the day, and Howard reported earlier nothing was accomplished in those sessions, but we'll be going back to Howard and Donald Fear immediately following the game. Kemp, there's a mad scramble, as there always is, and boy, there's a lot of noise and grunting that goes on in those kind of pileups.
Again, this has been a darn good football game for the first game of the season. We have a 21-20 score. And if the Oilers would have been fortunate enough to recover that onside kick, they'd have had a heck of a chance of winning. They still could possibly get a fumble, but it's highly unlikely.
Terry Kennard comes up with it for the New York Giants. We've seen some good performances. Fine performance by Mike Rozier, the USFL player who has come to the Houston Oilers, former Nebraska All-American. Jeff Rutledge has shown very well. Warren Moon of the Oilers. Jeff Rutledge stays in the game. And under the new rule now, they'll blow the whistle immediately when Jeff Rutledge puts that knee to the ground and the official recognizes his intent to stop the clock. They will not wait until he is hit or touched. They will stop the clock immediately with the whistle. Final seconds ticking off in this game, and the New York Giants are going to win it 21-20. More than that, I think that they were delighted with some of the performances that they saw, particularly that of George Adams, their rookie #1 draft pick. Their running back, Lee Rousson, and as I mentioned for the Houston Oilers, the running of Mike Rozier was certainly a highlight. They know what Warren Moon can do. They know what Tim Smith can do. But let's take a look at the new folks. For Stu Campbell, as he begins his second year as head coach of the Oilers, I think he has high hopes that this might be a year in which they can get out of the negative winning pattern that they have been. They were 2-14 2 years ago. They were 3-13 last year. I think they might even possibly be thinking playoff in Houston. It's been a wild week for Hall of Fame inductees, particularly my two colleagues. Once again, I congratulate Joe Namath and O.J. Simpson on their induction. We'll be returning to Canton after we have this commercial and go to New York to join Howard.